It's a lot of fun.
It just means that if I need to, I can get your audio clean aside from the desktop and my audio clean. It's a lot handier when I'm doing games like Overwatch where you can barely hear over the game, so I could individually take out someone's voice and make it loud. But anyway, it just means I have to sit and fiddle and reset up the audio cables. It'll take me about half an hour, but it's not the end of the world. But in the meantime,
that doesn't seem so bad.
I have lost roll 20. Oh, there it is. Okay. So then, are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
At least we'll pretend to.
When we last left our heroes, they had retired to the inn, and they were plotting out what next to do. Where the hell's the bloody inn? There it is. Blue Water Inn. He said returned to the inn. You plotted your next steps. Spent the night.
And Bornak should be fully back to full health.
Yep.
Fully.
Yeah.
I'm just look, I'm just saying this.
Thank you.
So then, what do you do?
Well, given that today is the festival...
That is technically tomorrow. You had another day for that.
Oh, yes. So
the Festival of the Blazing Sun?
Yep. It takes place on the 20th, and today is the 19th.
We're going to say we've got the bundle of sticks, haven't we? So...
Yeah, we should probably turn it in.
Alright.
Ingratiate ourselves with the local crazy baron.
Yes. The one who's just who's a Baronmeister.
Yeah. Who's a bit...
Meister.
Yes.
Okay then. So, head out.
We ask locals whether we have to bring those sticks.
Alright. You are currently standing outside the tavern on the street, looking left and right, trying to decide which way do we go.
Well, we did ask, when we were in the town square here, we did ask which way it was.
You did, and they told you it was to the east.
So
yes, but there's a southern east and a northern east. Which is both west, by the way. I suddenly forgot how directions work.
Or it could have been to the west. I need to double check. The town of Valky.
I've been a little bit confused.
Ah, yeah. They told you it was to the west of the town square.
So,
well, he said west. He didn't have the ability to tell us which way to go. Because he was distracted by a kid.
I'm assuming he means you must go west to follow this road down towards the south and go to about here.
We wouldn't know that.
You're over here.
We wouldn't know that this building is over there. We haven't been that far.
That's true.
Well, you know what? Let's just go. I think this road to the left, the road up there should lead us probably somewhere we can find out more.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to take the long road, because we'll just walk. Let me just scribble here. We'll walk down here, end up at the square, and then we'll just continue our walk around here.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking.
Alright, is that the route you want to take?
Yep.
I suppose so, unless Bornak has a better idea.
Now it's a nice day to take a long road.
Do you want to enter the town square, or do you want to bypass it?
Bypass.
Bypass.
Little past.
I don't want to draw more attention than we already do.
I'd rather not see those people in the stocks. I know they said they're getting
Yes.
out later today, but it's still upsetting. Okay. As you start to round the bend, you notice that there are a few other people carrying bundles of sticks. And you can see them making their way into the courtyard of a large house just off to the side.
I make certain that my hood is up. And that my ears are hard to spot, and then we make our way into the courtyard,
Alright.
I would say.
Alright.
I'm not the only one here, so
Oh, that's a
let's
great.
go.
looks like this is the place.
It does
Don't
seem
know where
that
my
way.
accent went all of a sudden.
Just let me get everybody in here.
Moving all the way around.
Keep losing Sir Alan. I'm looking for his token, but his player icon is his own sketch.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, you have arrived at the Burgomaster's house.
Would be good if we had arrived there yet. Yes.
Damn
God,
it,
took a
Specky,
little.
you're in the wrong place.
I mean, I'm sorry. What did you call that floating potato over there? Did you call it Spanky instead of Specky?
No, I said Specky. Ignore the potato.
I feel like we're being tracked by a potato. I don't know why.
Could be the root of our problems.
It's but a trick of the mind.
Well, let's hope that it's that way. Aha, aha.
No, I
what
suppose
came
we should
over
go
me?
and. Suppose we should knock, I suppose.
Well, can't hurt. You might want to stay a little bit back. We don't know if they'll like you, like turtles. Just a little bit, Zbornak. Not saying you shouldn't come. I'm just saying, be careful.
Alright.
I'm looking with me head.
You headbutt the door
Liter-
several times.
Literally,
even though
I'm literally smashing the wall. That's just the thing.
even you disregard the perfectly obvious door knocker and bang your head repeatedly into the doorway.
No,
After-
I'm using the door knocker. I'm not that dense.
After a few
Hey,
moments.
hang on. Am I that dense?
Yes.
Okay, I'm knocking with my head.
Alright.
That's a failure in intelligence.
As you bang on the door, eventually, after a few moments, a young girl in common dress opens the door. Can I help you?
Good morning. We were told we should bring bundles of sticks to the Baron's mansion.
Oh, yes. Come in, come in. She
Certainly,
steps
thank
away.
you.
After you. My head is hurting.
She steps
Come in.
away and sweeps her arm over the bundles of sticks that are currently lining the hallway and under the stairs.
Quite an impressive amount.
Yes, well, you might just have enough to make the sun for the festival.
Oh, excellent.
Alright.
Where should we?
Just
Ah,
place them with the others there. She motions to the
Okay.
bundle next to the stairs.
Okay. Put them down.
sun makers always love taxes.
I was wondering if we might be able to perhaps meet the Baron.
He might be busy, but I can certainly ask if you'll follow me a moment.
Certainly.
Of course,
Okay.
ladies.
As you come further down the hall, you hear the babbling of several women coming from the door to the south here. And roll me a perception check if anyone wants to try and peek in.
No, I'm not getting anything.
I'll give it a crack.
Alright.
Why is the thief failing the thing? The thief failing the thing.
Delicious
God,
irony.
I can't even speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of experience, young man.
Zabornik, as you peer through, you notice that, excuse me, there are several commonly dressed women seated around what appears to be a lavish table. I have lost the description of the room. Hold on. I had everything ready, and then I had to restart my bloody PC.
I am seeing a ceiling that is up high and a floor that is down low.
Yep.
I believe the table has legs.
Oh.
Alright, okay. Sorry. I've
I've
totally
been
prepared.
peeking as the player. Oh.
Okay, so then. I was totally prepared, I swear. But anyway.
That's what I always tell myself.
You peer into the room. There's a chandelier of wrought iron that's filled with wax candles and hangs above a polished wooden dining table. Around the table are seated 8 women of various ages in comfortable high-backed chairs. They're wearing faded clothes that don't seem becoming of the residents. They're drinking tea and they devour cake, while a 9th woman, who is well dressed, looking very pleased with herself, circles the tables and talks excitedly about the decorations. As you peer in, you notice that these 2 women in the corner, Zabornak, with her high perception, she can see this quite easily. While this woman is distracting the well-dressed woman, these 2 are piling cakes into their satchel.
Well, as they say, if you can't have bread, eat cake.
The maid with a nat 20 noticed you craning your eyes into the room, and says, "The Baroness is currently hosting her sewing club. They're making costumes for the children for tomorrow's festival. But in the meantime, if you'd like to follow me into here, we will."
Of course.
Okay, and she
Lovely,
opens the door
lovely.
into a rather nice-looking a den. You see that there are padded chairs and couches that line this cozy, carpeted den. The room reeks of pipe smoke, and mounted on the east wall is the head of a very angry-looking brown bear.
Don't say a things more like we're just guests.
I
Please,
wasn't
And don't
born
forget the
yesterday.
smiling.
come in.
You don't want me to smile.
Thank you very much.
Make yourselves comfortable, and I'll see if the Baron is available to take visitors.
Thank you very much.
She nips back outside, but as she goes, she closes the door behind her.
I'm
this
just
does
going
remind-
to check whether or not the door is locked.
It is not locked, no.
Just closed.
I see you also were looking to see if there was any cheese in here.
There is no cheese. However, on the small table between the 2 padded armchairs is a decanter and 2 glasses of wine, 2 wine glasses.
Still, it does feel like a sort of mousetrap in here.
Yes, it's not only like a mouse trap, but a human trap as well. And an elf
I'm just having a-
trap.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Okay, I'm just taking a look at the wine.
Okay. You pop the top off the decanter and give it a good little whiff, and you determine to yourself that it is not the best wine.
Well,
This
We'll
isn't
give
the
him
stuff
that.
they trot out to impress visitors.
Well, this is definitely not good. I wouldn't say it's I won't exactly say this is the best year, but
Just a cheap table wine.
I won't say that. But it's certainly not the high class stuff.
Well, given how the room reeks of smoke, well, I doubt they can actually taste the wine.
I would recommend
Yeah.
not pouring any until a host arrives.
Yes, it would be poor sportsmanship.
I would recommend not pouring any at all of this.
Well, I wouldn't drink it, seeing how you had your encounter back at the camp.
Oh, don't worry. This wouldn't be strong enough to cause that sort of effect.
I just don't want you to try even the repeat.
Well, fair enough.
Not
Gotta
that
give the
I'm
days off.
against having fun, but we're kind of on business here.
Oh, don't worry. This sort.
Okay. The door creaks open, and a portly older man enters in, flanked by two hounds. They stay at his side and sit obediently next to him. He glances around and gives you each a nod and then looks around. Well, welcome. Welcome to my home. I understand you were looking to speak to me. How can I be of assistance?
Oh yes, we were just curious about the festival.
Ah, yes. One of my little brain children. I'm quite pleased with its outcome. As you can see, I've had many donations. He waves his hand out towards the hall, indicating the piles of sticks. And my maid tells me you also provided your own. I'm most
Indeed.
grateful for that.
Of course,
Yeah,
you have to pay society what society requests.
indeed.
Yes, that is a good way to put it, society. Now then, is there anything I can do for you? Anything you need? Or would you perhaps like to aid further in the festival?
Well, I don't suppose there'd be any harm in it.
Excellent,
I suppose
excellent.
we should properly introduce ourselves.
Ah, yes, yeah, I'm sure you know that my full name, I'm Vargas Valakonovich.
Vargas Falconich. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Elaine Lowell I am from the Duchy of Galab. This is my associate Dubs, the wise Madame Zabornak, and of course, and of course, Miss Irina Kolan.
The Baron glances over to Arena, and his eyes narrow for a moment, and then he shakes his head and looks back to the rest of the party. His eyes seem to fall back onto Zabornak. You are a very interesting creature. I'm afraid I haven't encountered one such as you before. He comes over and extends his hand out to Zabornak.
Zabornik reluctantly shakes it, but keeps on an expression of utter amicability.
One of his hounds comes over and just kind of sits in front of you, sniffing at your shell. Don't mind him.
Zabornik obviously pets the dog. It is impossible not to.
Don't mind him.
I see you.
Just a curious little chap.
Oh, I don't mind at all. It's a beautiful animal.
I'm glad you say so. They were specially bred for this family.
I see.
One of their sires even helped us hunt down that monstrosity. He points to the bear head on above the mantle.
I see. Yes, nature. Nature is a wild thing, isn't it?
Ah, yes. One of my father's greatest achievements, bringing that thing down. Now then, please, take a seat. Make yourselves comfortable. Perhaps I can offer you some wine. Some refreshment.
Oh, yeah.
I have to unfortunately decline due to the fact that I'm here as a protector of Sir Alan and Madame Zabornak.
Ah, a bodyguard. I suppose that seems rather suiting for the current climate.
It is unfortunately necessary, yes.
You can never be careful enough, can't you?
Ah, yes, I am very well versed. I do have my own bodyguard. I suppose you may have met him around the town. Isaac.
We
Very loyal
have yet
man.
to be acquainted. We have yet to be acquainted.
Ah, yes, well, I'm not sure if he's here right now, but it's not quite important. Now then, you offered your services in helping us prepare for the festival. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, what is required?
We could always use more sticks. We do have several people who are already constructing the sun. If any of your fine ladies are deft with a needle, my darling wife would require assistance preparing the children's outfits. But of course, there is always the possibility of rounding up dissenters, those who would sabotage this festival.
I don't see why anyone wants to sabotage.
Yes.
Exactly, I
Would
don't
do
see why
such a
anyone
thing.
wants to sabotage a festival.
Yes, there are those who seem to disagree with my method of doing things.
In which way, if I may so inquire?
You may. As you've noticed, there is a shadow over these lands, that wicked creature. He feeds
Yes,
on despair and fear. Well, I
Yes, we
choose
have.
not to give him something to feed upon. There'll be no fear,
Yes,
there'll be
you-
no sadness, no loneliness. If we keep those things at bay in this town, we will keep him at bay. And there are those
I rather
who want to
feel-
spread sort of mistrust around us.
I rather feel that your priest would appreciate a little bit of assistance.
Sorry, what was that? He kind of snaps out of his reverie and looks round to you.
I rather feel your priest could do with some reassurance.
Ah, yes, Father Lucian. He is a great boon to this town. He does see quite a lot to our spiritual needs. Why?
Of
Well,
which I am sure there are plenty.
What has he been saying?
Oh, no, it just fills in the local details about the festival.
Ah, good. I'm glad to hear he's getting into the swing of things. So then, do you have anything in mind?
Well, I suppose we could, like I say, anything that with. I'm quite a deft hand with a few things.
Ah. Well then, I can see that your group is no stranger to getting your hands dirty. Perhaps you would like to roam the streets. Keep your ears open. There are those who want to deal harm to our happy little community. They see my gars, they see Isaac, and they go to ground. You, however, are not known to them.
That
Bring
is
me
true.
someone who is threatening this festival.
However, I would like to remind you that, as a paladin, it is my job to be sure that justice is seen.
And this is justice. These people bring danger to our town. To disrupt, to bring such distrust and hatred into our town is to invite in those foul creatures. Is the only way to keep
And-
our people safe is to keep them happy, content, fed.
So what you need is a sort of happiness patrol.
Well, that's a very crude name, but I do like it. Yes.
We are the Lollipop Brigade, apparently, yes.
And what of the Wachter family?
Ugh. Don't talk to me of them. Foul
I take it we-
machinations. They have been after my seat for very long, and they are bringing things into our towns.
So you know they brought vampires in.
As you say the word vampires, his face pales. The dogs
Or at least they
start
might have.
to growl and go over to his side. What do you
They
mean,
might have.
vampires?
We disposed of.
There were vampires in my city.
There.
Yes.
Where?
Thanks to
Somehow
Father,
they snuck behind. It does not matter where they
Doesn't matter.
were.
for evolution, and we destroyed them. They're not a threat.
I see. I see. He starts pacing back and forth. Vampires. Here. We need to step things up. We need to get this festival. It must run without a hitch. Very well. Of course,
Would it
Lady
be
Watcher will deny this.
Would
Can
it be
you...
possible for us?
What?
Would it be possible for us to draw the Watchers out in some way?
Well, if you approach her and say that you want rid of me, she'll open her house to you. If you can find me evidence that she is behind this plot, then we can oust her publicly. I can turn my guards against her and get rid of that rotten family and her no-good sons.
This brings up an interesting point. We've agreed to help Danica with the wine situation, with the Wizards of Wines.
Yes.
It's possible we could apply the boys somehow.
What do you have in mind?
I believe if we can ingratiate ourselves with the boys first, then their mother, we can find the evidence.
That is
We
possible.
wine and dine them.
Exactly.
Yes, well,
Actually, a smart plan, if I may say so, sir.
Thank you, Resta.
that is true. Lady Watcher tried something similar with our son. She offered her daughter for marriage to, what was it? Bring about the welfare of the town. But that poor girl went
Unify the
mad.
families.
Not good. My wife convinced me it would be a good idea to keep them under control by joining the families, but the poor girl went mad. My son had no interest.
Such family politics, unfortunately, go this way sometimes.
Yes, that poor girl lost her mind. But as I say, if you can get your way into the Watcher's good graces, and if you can find me evidence that they are working to undermine this town, I will reward you greatly.
We shall do our best, Baron.
Good.
It seems one of your servants has been loudly. Would you wish them a healthy dose of Gesundheit, as they say in certain parts of the lands?
Oh, don't worry about him. He's always sneezing. It's what he gets for leaving the dusting so long. Very well then. So, do we have an accord?
For agreeing to see us, Baron. As I say, we shall see what we can manage to unearth for you.
I appreciate that. In the meantime, I will...
Just restart Discord, 1 second.
I will inform my guards that you are working for me, but they will not openly intervene unless you do something egregious.
Don't worry, we have no intention.
We can be very subtle.
Just be very careful about Lady Watcher. Her sons are buffoons, but she is not to be trifled with. Directly.
No worries, I knew plenty of people like that when I was younger.
Yes. Very well then.
We can deal with a cunning woman.
Very well. Now then, are you sure you destroyed all of those beasts?
Very much sure. Dear Madame Zabarnak here dealt with 2 of them personally.
He glances over and nods
Too
at you.
much credit.
I would like you to tell me where you found them.
Yeah. We are still new in town. It is hard to keep track of the lay of the land.
Roll me a deception check.
I would usually try to assist in telling the tale, but you're nailing it yourself.
He nods and just kind of straightens up, getting out of Sir Elaine's face, and says, I suppose if you're not used to civilized lands, that might be a problem. Very well.
Plus, of
If
course, there's
you
always
re-
the chance that things might have moved around.
Need no help.
Very well. If you recall where you found them, inform one of my guards. The area must be searched thoroughly. These things must be rooted out. And I would thank you kindly not to mention this to any of the common folk.
Cool.
Naturally.
Mention what?
He looks over to you, Reister, and he turns as if he's about to snap at you and then goes, Ah, good. I see. We don't want to cause a panic. We can't afford for this festival to fail. Any more uncertainty, any more despair is only going to invite the darkness through our very gates. And that is something we cannot allow. Very well. So, I have your assurances you're going to look into this matter for me, and I will ensure the guard do not interfere unless you are doing something outright illegal.
Well, it wouldn't do for a paladin to commit a crime now, would it?
Good. Now then, is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, I believe that's all that we require from you.
Very well. Then, feel free to stay, partake in the wine. Or shall I call Olga to show you out?
I believe it would serve us best to get on with the investigation immediately.
Very well. He opens the door and stands back in the hallway, letting you pass.
After you, Madame Zbornak, Sir Elaine.
Have a nice day.
As you pass by the puppy, Zabornak, he gives your ham a little lick.
Goodbye.
Alright. So you head outside and close the doors. Irina looks around the party. I don't trust him at all.
Neither do I.
Of course we don't trust Baron from Combover.
I was trying to see whether or not he's a compulsive teller of tall tales.
It seems we've been hearing a lot about this Lady Watcher. No one seems to have a good thing to say about her.
It's
Question is it founded or is it unfounded?
Well, I would say, given that both Favolution and seem to be less than pleased with her.
Seeing that Father Lucian is not the greatest fan of Mr. Shamalamovic.
Well, in all honesty, I would trust Father Lucian's word over his. She nods her head back towards the mansion.
Same.
He does seem to hold Favolution in high esteem, so...
Only so high as as long as he's not interfering with his happiness control.
Yes, the esteem lasts as far as he is useful to him.
That is true.
But still, are we really going to go along with the, what did you call it, happiness police?
We don't really need to. I would say we should prioritize more the Watcher family.
We certainly can move unencumbered now.
Exactly.
A little less, unless of course someone decides to screw with us.
I doubt that'll happen.
Well, you never know. Sometimes even big bodyguards develop a certain sense of self-righteousness.
That is true.
And I'm not talking about myself. I'm just playing this role for
But for now, at least we don't have to worry
Big
as
Wig
much.
Wig come over.
At least now we don't have to worry as much about them.
Yes, we can let our grins slip a little. Not too much.
We should make our way back to the inn.
If you say so.
It might be the best place, seeing that their sons usually reside there, having a drink.
Alright. So, you head back outside. Into the street.
Shall we try following the street to its end?
I'd say so.
Maybe it ends
As
up
well.
back at the main road.
Alright. You start to head northward. And as you come up, you see a small, cramped shop with a wooden sign in the shape of a rocking horse with a large bee engraved on it.
This must be the tie maker.
Yes.
As you pass by, you can see there are two large arched lead-framed windows, and you can see jumbled displays of toys and placards bearing the slogan, "Is no fun, is no blinksy."
Shall we take a peek inside?
I think we should.
I don't see why not. You
We
were
might find
suggesting
something.
I get my shield painted.
That would be nice. God, all these stores, they feel the same.
Okay. So,
They all come with the store dummy on the counter
alrighty then.
and the scales. Everyone gets those scales.
Well, I couldn't find an interior for this toy shop, so shush. You come
Rena.
inside, and you have a look around. The shelves are lined with these lovely little toys. And a large, heavy-set man leans over the counter. You can see as you walked in, he had a rather downcast face, but as you came in, he plastered a large smile. On his shoulder is perched a small monkey wearing a bright pink tutu, who seems quite content to sit on his shoulder and gnaw on a nut. Welcome, welcome! Welcome to the house of Binksy, where happiness and smiles can be brought at bargain prices. Perhaps you know a little child in need of joy, a little toy for a boy or girl. As he says
Maybe.
this, he lifts up a few dolls and he lifts up a few wooden horses and sets them back on the counter. He leans his shoulders on the counter, leaning forward, steepling his fingers and just setting his chin on them, and gives you a big grin.
We might not necessarily be in need of one of your wonderful toys, but I think our friend over here might have something she might want you to paint.
I can help you with that, my dear. What? Oh. Huh. As you step out of the way and he gets a good look at Verena, he looks very confused all of a sudden.
Is something the matter, young man?
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
Gabrielle.
She just looks really confused.
Her name's Gabrielle. She's with our paladin friend over here.
She's my apprentice.
Yes.
Huh. You wouldn't happen to have a sweetheart in town, would you? Not that I'm aware of. That is very odd, then. He beckons the group of yous over to his little workbench in the corner and picks up a doll that looks remarkably familiar. The doll is currently wearing what appears to be traveling clothes, but it has dark hair, dark dyed skin, and very familiar features. This doll is the spitting image of Arena.
Huh.
How interesting.
This was this is very odd. I did not
Yes.
really think these were modeled after an actual person.
Uh,
Well, where did you get it?
It is a it's a custom order for a gentleman in town.
And who would that gentleman be, if I may inquire?
It may not be the best thing for you to inquire about, I'm afraid. You can see.
Oh, I'm a big boy. I can help myself.
Oh, God, now we're all friends here.
It's not like it's going to reach out to someone.
Okay, he looks over to Sir Lane. He can see that there is now sweat beading on his forehead. He gulps and he leans in, as if trying to hide the conversation from someone else in the empty thing, in the empty shop. Says it has been asked for by Isaac, the burgomaster's man.
I see.
This is not the first one, and it will not be the last.
I see. Has he also asked for a doll of a friend with of a winged doll of a winged person?
A winged person? No.
Yeah, someone
no.
with someone who has wings.
No, it is always this one. Always wearing
Always-
different things. Dresses, ball
Always
gowns.
that one.
The last one I gave him wore armor.
When did you first receive an order for one of these?
It has been many years now. He comes once a month. If I do not have a doll ready for him, he bad things happen, as you see.
That clinches it. It obviously has to be a coincidence. We've just arrived in town.
Yes, it's clearly just a coincidence. She
said-
must just have the strangest resemblance.
No, I do not think you understand. The doll is the same every time. He makes me do this specific doll. If I try to change the hair, the face, anything, he loses his mind.
Well, it was bound to look like somebody, right?
Well,
Wait.
There's only so many faces.
This, you mentioned that he requested a doll wearing armor.
Yeah, the
When did
last
he
one.
request this?
I-
When did he request?
Let's see. He was scratching his little head. He makes the requests in bulk, and I make them in order. He scurries behind his countertop and lifts up a notepad and starts looking down it.
was it just? Did it happen to be within the last, say, 2 weeks?
I do not think so. I think it was a few months ago. He also asked for a ball gown, some traveling clothes. That's the one I'm working on right now. There was some dancing dresses, riding clothes. He gave me this list a few months ago.
Mind if I look over it?
Of course. He
Well,
hands you
in
the
that
note.
case,
Other than what he's already told you, there's only a few other items on the list. For example, there would be dress yellow, dress blue, blouse blue. A few of them have been scratched off the list that you assume that he's already been made.
I tried to see if there were any specifics about the armored version.
It only just says armored.
Could you tell? Would you please be so kind and tell me what kind of armor you gave that doll?
Oh, I was rather proud of it. Normally I use tin to make the little knights. He runs over to a shelf and picks up a small knight. But
Lovely.
you see, this is very flimsy, so I made a deal with the blacksmith and he made me a tiny steel one. And then I used my engraving tools to put on some nice decoration. Isaac was very pleased. He did not even beat me that day.
The blacksmith or the father?
The blacksmith. Honestly, I think it was an offcut from when he was making a few shovels, but it served my purposes. But I think that's enough about that for now. Perhaps Isaac is best avoided.
Yes, I think we'd be best to avoid acquainting ourselves with him just yet.
I would be interested. Do you have any mechanical knack that would move or do things with a little bit of clockwork?
As you say the word mechanical, his eyes just light up. He sets the arena doll back on his work desk and scurries up to the other side of the room. He lifts up a rather large piece and brings it and sets it on the table. It appears to be a merry-go-round. There are figures of snarling wolves and running children in the place of prancing horses. And as he turns a small crank in the side, it starts to turn with a light melody, which doesn't seem to fit the what's the word? Doesn't seem to fit the theme. Yes, that's it.
Unusual work. Usually they have horses instead. Wolves and children.
Yes, well...
Was this a custom order as well?
No, this was one of mine. You know what they say, artists work with what they know.
Fair enough.
Wonderful work on the expressions, young man. I'm very impressed.
Yes, the details are wonderfully
Yes,
done.
the detail work is always good, always what Binksy does. But, tell me, you seemed interested in the clockwork. Do you know much about it?
I'm just a little tinkerer myself. Clockwork. I'm nowhere near your skill.
Thank you. I can say that I am flattered. But, I am not what you would call a master. I tinker with what I have found, but I will tell you of the real master. His name was Fritz von Wrieg. He was the greatest inventor and toymaker who ever lived. And I heard, before he passed, he created a fully clockwork man. Can you believe this?
Intriguing.
I have been
There are other
trying...
things that would be easier, but well,
But can you imagine a clockwork man? What could you do with that? But even think of the delicate devices, the works, the springs that must go into that. I have been searching for years to try and find out how he did it. I cannot work it out on my own, but I have found out where it is.
where would it be?
It appears that Fritz von Wrieg, his last visit was to Castle Ravenloft to show off his invention many hundreds of years ago. Back before the darkness started, but the word is that the Clockwork Man is still there.
It is a very interesting piece of information you've given me.
Yes.
If we are ever in that area, we might go and try to find out if it still exists.
That would be incredible. I once tried to hire people to do it, but they were not so keen. But if you do go there, I would be most appreciative if you could bring it back. Even if you not bring back the full thing, if you bring back part of it, if you bring back plans, anything you find in relation to this thing. I'm afraid I do not have much to reward you monetarily, but I'm very good with my hands. I could make you some very nice things. Or perhaps you would like my little companion here. He motions up to the monkey on his shoulder.
I think we will first see if we're ever going to that area, to that region.
Yes, that is
But if we find, we will talk about things. Then,
yes, it is understandable. His face kind of
After all.
falls.
after all, you don't want to pay us for work not done yet.
Yes. Well, I wasn't intending to pay you unless you get something back. I'm not sure what kind of financial information you are used to, my friend. But I will understand if you do not wish to go to that place.
At least not for now. Maybe later.
Well, I thought it was best to mention it. Maybe someday I'll get
Yes, of
lucky. But until then,
Yes, of course. But maybe if we find the mechanical man or what might be left of him, we will
We'll
be
see what we
certain
can
to let you know.
that would be amazing.
Bring things to you.
But in the meantime, I do still have some very nice things that you could have a look at.
Yes. I'm just going to discreetly nudge to Reader and just say, I might recommend getting the Morning Lord symbol put on your shield.
I would suggest so.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Oh yes, what is that? I have this shield and I was wondering if you could perhaps paint something upon it? Show me. She hands over the shield and basically just tells him what she wants. And he strokes his chin for a moment and says, this I could do. It will take a little time. It is a large shield, the paint will need time to dry, but I could do this for you, yes. How much time do you think it will take? Well, I do not have much to do today, so I could have it finished for you in a few hours. It will take time to dry. Perhaps tomorrow morning or tonight. Yeah, leave it tomorrow morning, then I have it ready for you. Even kind of glances over to you guys. That sounds alright to me. How about you?
I would say so. We're here for a few days anyway.
Seems reasonable to me.
Excellent. For the cost of paint, it'll not cost about, I would say about a silver or two. That seems fair. Excellent. Then, well, pay me when you collect. And he lifts the shield and tucks it under his counter. Now, is there anything else I can do for you? I do have many toys if you have any children who would like to play.
I'm just checking out a dollhouse. I see that you have this dummy over here.
Ah, yes.
Looks a little bit unsettling, to be honest.
To be honest, that's not my proudest piece. It was a vision I had in a dream once. I could not
Yes.
get the face out of my head, so I decided to make it into a dummy. Irina kind of giggles in the background at that.
Well, it sure is a memorable face.
I'm just trying to stop myself from smirking.
I'm going to take a little look at the miniature gallows there.
Ah, yes. He lifts them down from the shelf and sets them on the counter.
That hanged man. Remarkable
lifts it up as well.
work.
Oh yes, I am very proud of this.
I just hope it never looks like me. It would be very bad business for me.
I would say so, my friend. I would say so.
You seem to have a knack for the macabre.
Well, the macabre tends to sell, sadly enough. I did do cutesy for a while, but nobody wanted the cutesy.
Why is
Robert.
I do not know. They took too long to sell. They would sit
Makes
on my
me-
shelves for years and rot, unloved. It broke this poor man's heart.
To be honest, to be frank, if I may be frank, it seems like there's very little business going on for you, unfortunately, right now as well.
You can see his plastered smile just kind of breaks. And his shoulders kind of sag, and the little monkey just kind of pats the side of his face. It is true. Nobody seems to want to buy toys from Brinksy anymore. Nobody wants toys. No one seems happy enough one who wants to play. Despite the barons, all will be well, no one really seems to think it. Nobody wants to play.
Tell you what, young man, I would like the dummy there and maybe that nice little Batmobile.
Ah, excellent, excellent. Would you like those wrapped up, my friend?
That won't be necessary. I can carry them in my pack.
And I would be actually interested in those nesting dolls and the gallows.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh dear, this has been a wonderful day. You can see him, he kind of claps to himself and he gathers the items together. Let's...
Mind if I take a look at the bag for the doll with the attachable heads?
Oh, yes, yes. Have a look, have a look. Let's see. So Zabornik wanted the Strahd and what else did you want? The mobile?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be 18 silver.
Doesn't it say copper on the thing?
Oh, sorry, the
Mobile is 9
mobile
copper,
is
yeah.
9 copper.
Yeah.
So it's 9
The
silver.
dummy is 9 silver.
Yeah, 9 silver and 9 copper.
And
Okay.
I'm 18 copper.
And 18 copper for you as well.
Yes.
As you're handing over the money, you can see his face has just cracked into a big, beaming smile. This is most appreciated, my friends.
I was curious. You don't happen to have any musical instruments at all?
Musical instruments, what do you have in mind?
A flute or a pipe?
Let's see.
That actually would be rather interesting. Yes.
It looks
Despite the
around the
fact that-
shop for a moment. I have a whistle, but it only does one note. It's rather high pitched. I used to have a tiny lute for little ones, but I don't know what that is. I think I may have sold that. Give me a moment. I will see what I can find. And he scurries off into the corner where his workroom is and just starts moving things around. Okay. I do have this. After a moment, he comes back with a small, what appears to be a tin whistle.
Yes, that would be magnificent.
I would try it out, just in case it's one that's
Oh, yes,
meant
yes.
for
yes.
dogs.
He rubs the mouthpiece on his apron and then hands it over to you.
I'm going to try a few notes. So I'm going to...
Roll a performance.
Should be a really easy thing if you go just scaled.
Alright.
do a few
You
scale.
bring the flute to your mouth and you manage to butcher your way through hot cross buns. But it is a fully functional musical instrument. With a little bit of practice, it would sound quite nice.
Excellent.
Let me think. I would part for that for 2 gold pieces.
Certainly.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. There you go.
Thank you very much.
And I'm checking the bag of doll heads, if there are any heads that are seeming familiar, just as a precaution.
No. These doll heads seem a lot less detailed. They're the expressionless faces of dolls, unlike the very detailed, realistic-looking one that is being made for Isaac. Which Irina is currently staring at, looking really freaked out, by the way.
Well, I think that's all we can, unfortunately, purchase right now.
Oh, well, you have greatly helped me in this short time, my friends. I am very glad you came into my shop.
It is a pleasure doing business with you.
Yes.
Indeed.
Excellent. And mind as I say, be wary of Isaac. Especially you, my dear. He kind of nods to Irina. He is a very odd man.
With odd tastes, it seems.
Exceptionally odd tastes.
Well, we will heed your warning, and as I say that, I put another gold coin in the palm of his hand.
Oh, my friend, you do not have to do that. But that is greatly appreciated, I thank you. Here.
Okay, I thank you for your service.
He ducks behind his counter and brings up a brightly painted top. He says, my last of, as you say, the cutesy things. It depicts a bunny hopping across a field.
That's a very lovely piece.
Yes, I would like to make these again, but as I said, no one ever bought.
Well,
I made this 12 years ago, would you believe?
It is in a remarkable condition.
Well, I do look after my stock, at least until it is sold.
It would be odd if you looked after it afterwards.
Well, if you bring it back to me, I repair.
and given
Or
how much
vehicles.
detail you put in your work, that's remarkable, actually. I'm at a loss for words right now, sorry.
Many years of practice and steady hands, my friend. You can do remarkable things with teeny tiny paintbrushes.
You can do remarkable things with very skilled hands. Indeed.
You can see there's a slight hint of a blush on his cheeks as he looks to be getting very smug at your compliments. Hey, thank you.
Anyway, I think we unfortunately must part.
Ah, yes. Very well. As I say, return tomorrow morning and I will have your shield painted with symbol of the Morning Lord.
Thank you very much.
Have a good
Thank
day,
you.
my friends, and thank you for your purchases. You have made this
You as
old
well.
toy maker very happy. Okay.
Irina, you coming? Or are you
She
still
is
looking at
already
the doll?
out the door.
Well, that was fast.
I always wanted my own Batmobile.
What was that?
I don't know. One of those mirages, I assume.
You read
have been
that
the
on the
superior
toy
one.
list, and you immediately went to find that sound clip so you could make that bloody joke, didn't you?
Oh, you're doing it a bit misjustice. I already had the sound effect beforehand.
Yeah,
I have plans for it. I have proper
creature is
plans
a
for it.
creature of many skills.
Oh, the chat's laughing now.
Yes,
Also,
bloodies having fun of their life.
I had no idea what that accent was either, so anyway.
It was clearly the same accent you didn't find in our friend.
I need to nip away for a few minutes.
I mean, it's not it's close, but not exactly the accent you would find in Ez.
It was going a little bit Russian sometimes, I think. But anyway.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Sometimes it was a little bit Russian, but then again, you did not rush through it.
Oh, the puns, the puns.
Come on, at least I'm not doing this accent, so that's good.
True. Anyway, so you are back out in the street. I would like you to roll me a perception check.
Well,
Oh, jeez. Percepticon.
that's a 19. Monarch's even better at looking around.
All right.
I cleaned my glasses last night.
Okay, as you come back out of the toy shop, you notice that Irina has kind of hurried away a few steps, and she's trying to keep her face away from the group, but not quite as successful. She looks freaked out.
I think we better retire to the inn.
She gathers herself up and hides the expression on her face, and then turns with a forced smile. I think that might be a good idea.
Given that you look like you've seen a ghost, yes.
Well, let's just say there were things in there I was not expecting.
Are you,
Same.
dearie? I think everybody would be freaked out by this.
Zabornik, I do have to ask, why did you buy that thing? She, motions towards the dummy.
It could be quite useful when we have to speak about him without saying his name. Also, not everybody knows what he looks like, but we can ask people if they've seen somebody who looks like this.
That's going to be difficult.
And lastly, you would be surprised what a skilled practitioner of magic can do with a personal item or two and a good likeness.
She
How
looks
about
a
we set it
little
on-
bit concerned now.
How about you set it on fire? Maybe
I
it
like
helps.
that option.
Yeah, all in due time.
As long as I get
In
to be
any-
the one to light the match.
In any case,
I'm going to
think we
pour
are-
oil over it. It's going to go up in flames.
but speaking of this phase, I think we should be very careful about that Ivan fellow now.
Yes, given that he
Yes.
is somehow connected.
Yes. Connected or who knows if his face is...
Let's just stick with connected until we know more.
Well,
I'm just saying, consider the option.
didn't the
Yes.
Baron say that Isaac was his bodyguard?
Yes, hence why I'm very apprehensive about helping. Shh. Gods are listening.
Okay.
Well, I suppose we should ingratiate ourselves with the men here.
Oh,
They have changed the jukebox in Roll20, and it has been so damn finicky. The music keeps cutting out. Anyway, sorry. So, he's arrived back at the inn. You have spent the better part of the morning wandering around. It is now around midday as you return to the Blue Water Inn. As you enter, you see that the hunters are already drinking away. They seem to be debating rather loudly about where they were going for their next hunt and when they should go. The Watcher brothers are, again, drinking away and slouching over the table. Under the distrustful eye of Danica.
I'm just going to whisper to Rystad. Moment. Rystad, do you fancy carrying out that little trick we did with the sisters back in Baru?
I do not fancy these people.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. I hesitate to use the word hustle, but
You mean you
Well, look-
want us to approach them? You want me to approach them and...
us to approach them. But
Yes.
you know, carrying out the whole idiot nobleman wise bodyguard trick.
You mean the one that we already kind of pulled? We're at the
Pretty much,
Baron's
yes.
You can surely try, sir.
Certainly.
After you, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of clear my throat and go, the wonderful Miss Danica, could you provide me and my friends with some refreshment? Your finest wines?
You know what we have on order, darling.
Well, we shall take 4 glasses.
4 glasses of the Grape Crush. I can arrange that very, very nicely. Let me see. The Red Dragon Crush is a silver a pint.
We'll take 4 pints of it.
4 points. Here
Are
you
you
go.
Sire, are you sure you don't want to spring even for a whole bottle? For a whole pitcher, sir?
What? I think we might do that.
Alright.
Go,
She kind of glances over your group and she leans in and says, "Now, are you going to drink the whole thing? Because if you're not, I can't give you the picture. We are running a bit low."
Don't worry, I'm kind of going to lean into whisper to her. Don't worry, we're definitely going to drink the whole thing.
The entire thing is going to... We know two very thirsty who will drink the rest.
Yes.
She glances over your group and says, "Alright, well, you haven't caused me no trouble so far, but it's a gold piece on the counter." She taps the counter and then turns around and grabs a picture.
Can I give her the gold piece?
Alright. She heads over to the wine barrel and starts to pour. And you notice that even this large barrel, she kind of has to tip it to get the picture filled properly before she returns it to you.
I think after we've talked to the fellows, we should probably head out to the Wizard of Wine to make certain that the stocks last, or otherwise we might have a riot on hands.
Yes,
Let's
that would
just
be the
say
best
I
idea.
would greatly appreciate that. So she hands over the picture and takes your gold.
Okay. Now, I was going to... I don't suppose we could find some fine fellows eager to play some cards.
As you wish, sire.
Rita's just
these
kind
young
of settled in the corner over here. Not sure whether or not she wants to be part of the scheme.
And I just noticed the watchwise and I go, here looks like some fine gentlemen.
As you say that, the 2 hunters look over to you.
I guess I probably should roll deception, shouldn't I? Yes, 2 fine gentlemen I'm sure wouldn't mind a little fun.
Sir, who are you talking to?
I gesture to brothers. Well, these 2, of course.
Well, let's just see if he sees you. Because one of them has their back to you and the other is pissed out of his head and doesn't see you.
Even the hunters might be useful to... Might be people would not mind having a relationship with, working-wise, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to discreetly go look at Zabarnak. I'm going to say, Zabarnak, would you mind having those hunters?
What would you need me to do?
Try and ingratiate yourself with useful allies.
Always good
Give
to
my
have it.
best.
If anything goes wrong, you still got me as
That's
backup.
true. Okay, I suppose we should get this show on the road. So we're going to walk towards the Watcher Boys.
Alright.
Of course, I'm presuming you 2 don't mind a little bit of gambling.
As you pop up and say you're looking for some gambling, the two of them perk up their ears and look over. Ah, finally a bit of fun! Sit!
Indeed.
And I have cards if you're going to share that. He points to the
Of
picture in your
course,
hand.
always. Of course, we're always up for a bit of wine and a little bit of cards, aren't we, Rystar?
Of course, sir.
So, shall we begin?
Very well. What name your stakes, my friend?
Say start.
The younger of the two men pulls out a large bag of coins and sets it on the table.
I'd say start with a silver piece, I think. Ease ourselves into it.
Oh, cutting your teeth on something low. Very well.
It could be a long night, you never know.
I like that idea. So tell me, gentlemen, what are your names?
I am Elaine Lowell of Galaba, and this is my associate, Rystar Willows.
Pleased to meet you, gentlemen.
I am Nikolai, and that is my brother Carl.
No, pleasure to meet you both.
Well, we'll see if it's a pleasure or not until after we've played cards. How about that?
That is true. So I'm just going to pour the drinks.
Zabornik is going to go over to Elaine and pat him on the shoulder, saying,
Good luck with your game, sir. These gentlemen look very cunning and handsome. You should be on your guard.
No worries, Black.
Oh dear.
So, shall we deal?
Uh,
I've handed out the drinks at this point.
Yes, deal away. Deal away.
Of course.
Right then.
Right.
Do you have proficiency in card games?
I do not.
However, I
you,
do.
Mister? All right then. So then, Reister, because you have the proficiency, you will be rolling with advantage. Sir Elaine, you have to roll 1d20.
Okay, 1d20.
Sir,
Okay.
you are master at this game.
Well, we are well travelled.
Okay then. So, you have your cards in your hand and you pick your first run. You keep them hidden. Although Reister, leaning over and announcing your hand, has the two Watcher brothers raise their eyebrows as they glance at each other. You then watch as Nikolai sorts through his deck, sorts through his hand, discards one card and pulls another. His brother seems content to stick with what he has. I would like you all now to roll a d6.
D6. Very well.
Okay then. Okay, so the Watcher brothers set down their hands as you put down yours. Sir Elaine has clearly won this round. Reister, you have come third. But unfortunately the winnings all go to Sir Elaine. So you have 4 silver.
Excellent.
Well, sir.
Well, what can we say?
Says, we can always. Do you wish to win your money back?
Well, shall we raise the stakes a little bit? He sets down a
Certainly.
gold piece.
Certainly.
I'm game.
Carl reaches over, lifts the deck, and starts shuffling through. He glances over your equipment and such while he shuffles. You seem rather strange. You seem rather strangely dressed and equipped. You're not from around these parts, are you?
No, I hail from Galaba, far off place.
I can't say I've heard of it.
And we go
Yes.
places, shall we say that?
I somewhat decided to see the world. You know, get my snout wet in certain places, if you get what I mean.
Yes, well, it would be very interesting if we could do that too. Unfortunately, we're reduced to staying in this lovely establishment. He turns and raises his glass to Dananka, who just kind of rolls her eyes and goes back to
It is
cleaning up the
indeed.
counter.
It is indeed a lovely place. More wine?
Yes. Why is that?
Well, why not have a refill?
I like you, my friend.
After all, we've got a full picture here.
Well,
Would be
What
a
can I
shame if
say?
it went to waste.
watchers do enjoy generous people, and we are generous in return. So I'm going
Magnet?
to assume, Reister, that you were rolling to try and see if they were doing anything funny with the cards.
Exactly.
Alright. As you watch, he doesn't really quite seem to be paying much attention to shuffling the cards, so he doesn't appear to be doing anything trickery. And that was a waste of a nat 20 for him not to be doing anything. So he
Well-
is dealing honestly. He flicks
Okay,
out your
so-
cards, and it's time for your next hand. So again, roll your d20s.
After all, I have the proficiency.
You do. Sir Lane is not doing very well. Nikolai, he looks over his hands and there is a deep-set frown on his face. Carl has stifled a giggle. He takes out one of his cards, discards it, lifts a new one, and tries to hide a smile. Roll the d6.
D6.
Alright. Nikolai looks over to you. Well then, show us your hand.
Okay. I just lay them out on the table.
As Sir Lanes is put down on the table, Nikolai starts to giggle and looks rather smugly at his brother. He glances over to Reister, expectantly.
I put my hand down card by card, drawing it out a little.
You see the smug grin just disappear as he throws down his cards. You have beat him out by just a few cards. And Carl laughs long and hard at his brother. He doesn't seem to have a hard time handing over the gold, though. Reister, you collect 4 gold coins.
Well, shall we continue? And sir, would you be please be so kind? It seems Mr. Nikolai over here is having a little bit less of a drink than he
Of course.
should have.
I'll top your glass.
I like these
No
men.
no reason to have sorrow that you can drown away.
Alright. Nikolai grabs the deck and starts drunkenly shuffling. But he doesn't
Again.
appear to be having a really easy time at it. He's dropping cards, he's getting them mixed up, flipping them left and right. Apparently Sir Lane has started to sing.
No, I'm not singing. This is for what I'm going to do.
He's doing coin tricks.
No, not that. So, gentlemen,
As I said before, guys, you're going to have to
I'm pretending
state
to be drunk.
what it is you're doing before you roll.
I'm pretending to be drunk.
Ah, I see. That works then. But again, state what you are about to do before you roll.
I'm just sorry.
It's alright.
Yeah. I did hear Danica saying that they needed more wine. Something about the Wizards of Wine? That's the place this gorgeous brew comes from, is it not?
Yes. Fantastic brewery. It's the only place you can get wine, to be honest. They have a bit of a... What's mother call it? He looks over to his brother and Carl scratches his head for a moment. A monopoly? Yes! That's the word. Mother says they have a bit of a monopoly on the wine trade in the valley.
Oh, well, that's to be understandable. I mean, if it's the only wine place in the valley, then it's the only place you get.
Precisely. I have to say it's a very good way to do business.
Agreed.
Well, there's a lot of money to be spent, and there's a lot of money to be made.
Very much so. Carl, can you do this? He just like slides the cards, which are now just spilt all over the table, towards his brother. Carl just rolls his eyes, starts picking up the deck.
I'm going to see if he's doing anything a little cheeky. Nope, I'm not picking up anything. Even if he were.
You see a very drunk man having coordination issues, just trying to push cards across the table and just spreading them out. His slightly more sober brother picks them up and starts to shuffle them again. So then, same as before, he sets a gold coin down.
Yep. One gold coin.
Before. One gold coin.
Alrighty then. You roll your d20s.
Hang on. Because of my proficiency again. I'm going to play it smart.
Okay. Did you roll a 5 again, Surly? Wow.
Yep.
You're not doing well at all. Alright.
Well, Sir Elaine, your poker face is slipping.
Nikolai...
Well, that's because I'm drunk, isn't it?
Nikolai
Probably.
is sitting there. His face is red now. He is very much intoxicated, and he has a big grin on his face.
Oh,
Whereas-
we might... Sir, we might be in trouble here.
Whereas Carl is just kind of sucking his lips against his teeth, like...
Right, Star. We've only got... You know something? I hope you lads don't mind this, but once we've dealt this hand, we're going to go and visit the Wizards of Wine, see if we can get some more wine brought in.
That sounds like a very good idea there, my friend.
Excellent.
Okay, now then. Are you all ready?
Yep.
Okay. Nikolai, he's just kind of leaning on the table, looking over towards the two of yous. Draw your hand. He discards
There we
one
go.
card and draws a second.
Yeah.
Okay then.
I'm calling this.
Alright, so as you set down your hands, Nikolai throws down his hand with a big triumphant grin. He's beating you out, and as he reaches for the gold, his brother just kind of slaps his hand, and Carl sets down a full house and just grins as Nikolai glares at him, and Carl just
Sheesh.
sweeps up the gold.
It looks like you have mastered the cards, sir.
Indeed, well played.
It has been a pleasure playing with you.
Indeed.
I think we'll leave the rest of the picture for you.
It's most
the
appreciated.
the little sip that's still in there.
He glances in.
Enjoy it.
There's probably like another 2 glasses worth still in there. Well, if you call this a little sip, we must entertain you another time.
Indeed.
Well, you're
Well,
welcome to
gentlemen.
return any time, my friends.
Then we bid you adieu, my friends.
Yes. They kind of toast you as Nikolai leans into his brother, going, "I should have won that hand." And Carl just sits there looking very smug.
Well, let us go fetch more wine.
Yes. And don't worry, I should have won that hand, I thought, but your brother beat me to it as well.
Oh, these things happen.
Now,
Yeah.
before you move off, while the card game was taking place, Zabornak, were you talking to these hunters?
very passingly.
Okay. As your two companions sit down, you've just granted Sir Elaine a little bit of a magical gift, hoping that will help him out in the card game. And you head over and talk to the, attempt to strike up a conversation with the two hunters. How do you do it?
Zabornik sits up and leans against the wall and goes,
Well, how do you feel about spectator spots?
The man with the greasy long hair just kind of turns and looks at you. What do you mean spectator? You mean like fight pits?
For now I was talking about watching the card game, but if there are any good fights to see around here, I wouldn't be opposed.
There hasn't been fight pits around here for a long while. Burgomaster shut them down. Says they breed negative feelings. He turns and spits onto the floor.
Couldn't imagine why. Everybody needs some entertainment.
Let's just see if the Baron knew that was going on. He jabs his finger over towards the table. He'd shut down too.
No, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Just like the man.
You know what? I like you. You know what you're talking about.
He kind of gives you a grin, showing off some broken teeth.
Say, if you ever need any help with one of them teeth, if they hurt or something, just come to me.
Oh? What can you do?
I am an experienced healer. If nothing else, I could help you numb the pain from time to time.
He just kind of rubs his jaw, scratching his little scraggly beard, and looks up at you. And says, and much would that cost me?
Maybe just a favor from time to time, maybe a kind word or a helpful word. You know how it goes.
He just kind of narrows his eyes at you as if not sure whether or not to trust you.
After all,
Well, we're hunters. We can hunt down things for you.
that is one thing. You could also keep, like, as hunters do, your ear to the ground, right?
And what kind of things would we be listening out for?
Mostly what Lord Funkiller is up to these days.
As you say Lord Funkiller, his companion across the table just kind of chokes into his beer and starts and tries to clean up and hiding the fact that he snorted.
It's alright, we're all friends here. If you can't be loose in a place like this, where can you be loose?
They kind of look over to you as if to say, we don't really want you to be loose. Keep your shell on.
Figuratively speaking, of course.
Well, we do know the woods around these areas.
Oh, that would be helpful to know.
Well, we don't like going out of town if we're not going to get paid for it, though.
Tell you what. If you ever need my services, let me know, and then I'll let you know when I need your services, okay?
That sounds a fair deal. And if you need any of our services, you let us know.
Absolutely. It's always nice to meet fine young men such as you.
They kind of give you a suspicious glance over. You get the feeling that they don't seem to really buy into the flattery side of things.
Need a little help.
Yeah,
I
trying
lean
to figure
over.
out if Zabornik should, she's going to try him out, the deception thing.
After all, handsome young man like you. I mean, if you want to be loose sometime, just let me know, alright?
We're both
Zvonek
married.
phrasing.
Excuse me?
We're both married.
I don't judge.
Well,
Zvonek.
our wives will.
Ah, fair enough, fair enough.
Perhaps you want to move on?
Certainly, certainly. But again, all the other offers still stand.
I don't
Other
think
than that,
we'll take you up on that offer.
alright. Enjoy your drink, have a nice day, and keep your eyes open, right?
Yeah. Keep a shell on.
Oh, it doesn't ever come. It's my spine technique. I'll be leaving.
Yeah. The two very confused hunters go back to their drinks.
No.
Just
Now
as
I-
Reister
now
and
I know
Sirlane
what-
finish their card games.
Now I know why I lost the last round.
Because you heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was halfway leaning over and trying to Zvonek, don't fuck it up.
Yeah, my thinking was that if Zabana gives the impression that she's horny for the guys, they are more likely to trust her on grounds of thinking that she's not thinking straight.
Blind terror, I'd say.
I just hope the turtle over here didn't offend you, gentlemen.
It's a very weird creature you have here.
That I fully agree. Yes,
Well,
she can be rather helpful though.
I will
actually
take your word for it.
Actually, fix up my teeth. Just saying. I flash him a wide smile.
Just gonna show something to the camera very quickly. Just that last paragraph.
Yeah. Wrong way he wrote. Right of it still. Yeah.
I think we broke Sirlane again.
Yes.
Oh, those nobles.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, but I'm okay now.
It's too small. Okay.
Just paste it into the shed.
A large lad that works at the Church of St. Andal in Valkyrie. He is rarely seen without his shovel and works hard to feed his younger siblings. He was found to have stolen the bones and sold them to Henrik after getting threatened by Sirlane and Reister, along with being sexually harassed by Zabornik. He promised to never bully Yesha again.
I think we broke him.
That's
I don't
twice
know
in
if
one
it's
session.
Lane Villavoy.
That's twice in
Points
one
go
session. Just so you know, too, by the way, I do update a lot of these character descriptions as we go along.
Look, some people are into hard bodies.
Zvonek. Language.
Just saying I was Shell.
We've killed him.
If you don't behave, you end up as a piece of turtle soup. If you're not careful, especially not with hunters
Look, if
and their wives.
I appreciate your offer, but if they don't want to eat me, I don't want you to eat me either.
You know what You're not part of my dining plan. Yeah. I'm just saying. I just hope no household in this town will have turtle soup.
So much for our daily abdominal workout.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I think now basically our faces had the most workout ever.
Yep.
And Irina's probably already face palming hard.
I'm also just gonna share their things to you.
Okay.
Well,
So these are the two brothers.
that is Karl and Nikolai.
I will move them to the NPC token after the...
That makes sense.
Yep, after that. So then, are you okay, Sephi?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
Alright.
I don't know if I am.
We will never be okay.
No, we will never be clean.
There's an image we really didn't need. Zabornik and two burly hunters.
Yeah. No.
It could be a new definition to turtle
Drowning puppies.
As they say back in the homeland, the shell opens on both ends.
I did not need that. Well, thank you, but I did not need that.
It's a new definition to turtle soup.
Yes, it's not, but it's not bath water. I see you. It's bath with the turtle still inside. It's been a bit hot as well. Ricebetta stumbles out and dunks his head in fresh water.
So I sort of totters after him, still pretending to be drunk.
Should never have gone to party with those brutes.
Again, Zabornik was the one who was judging Ez for looking like a harlot, and yet she's the one who's making the most sexual advances.
Takes one to know one.
I fucking love this character.
Oh my god, I forgot about Rita.
Yeah, Irina has been looking a little bit distracted and nursing a drink in your usual bay window, waiting for you to do your shenanigans.
You coming, dearie?
Wait.
Sorry, are we leaving already?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. She
If
quickly,
you're ready, that is.
yes, of course. She quickly downs her drink and heads outside.
Oh,
I'm just acting normal now. Well, that was an interesting little game.
Rysta, why are you soaking?
reasons. And that point is Warnick.
Alright, I'm just gonna say now, I've laughed too hard and now I have to go pee. I'll be back in a sec.
Good luck!
I blame Zabornik for this.
Yeah.
May as well take a break while we can. Get drinks and such.
Put Irina in the outhouse.
I have mastered the druidic peace spell.
It looks like you have, yes, dear.
Indeed.
You've made it possible that everyone in this town was feeling embarrassment. Most of them not knowing why.
It moves like a wave. My god!
Yes. Should be now at the eastern gate.
Why do I get the feeling we're going to end up at the end of this series with like a highlights reel, and that's going to be one of the main sections?
All of Zbornek's innuendos. Because
Yeah.
they're not innuendos anymore. They're already innuendos.
Yeah,
That
we
is
got it the
true.
first time.
Well, but then again, we could also get Sarah Lane, the character story moments.
Basically being a moody, evil. Well, not evil, but slightly psychopathic.
Well, that's Ez, yeah.
Not true.
That's Ez in a nutshell.
Why do you think he's attracted to her?
Okay, I've returned. Sorry
Good
about
thing she's no longer around right now.
That's true.
that. What did I miss?
Just as talking about
Secrets.
character highlight reels and Sarah Lane's personal preference in partners.
Oh my.
Yeah. It is exactly what you think.
Alright, so then. Irina looks around the group.
Well,
Do we know the way to the Wizard of Wines?
I believe it was pointed out to us.
I believe Ez actually pointed it out. Yes.
Was it outside of town?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
to the west, and then I believe it's south,
I
maybe
think so.
north.
I do-
North was the. I remember we saw the pointer. It showed us that to the north is the lake.
Alright.
So it must be to the south.
Well then, has everybody got their things?
Well, we need to
Both.
wait until you have your deal.
Yes, he said that wasn't going to be ready until tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yes, so we probably should spend a few more hours or retire.
What would you recommend?
Well, I have nowhere to go right now.
Me neither, to be honest.
Well, if we're heading out onto the road, should we perhaps gather some rations,
Yes.
some equipment?
Maybe we should get some rations. I think those made by that we had from earlier have been going a little bit stale.
Yes, it might be an idea to get some fresh stuff.
Plus, Zvonik can always inquire how the caramel is going.
Certainly. They better not fuck it up, though.
Well, given that you've given him a very easy recipe
Was that
with
a
all the
threat?
steps, with
It may well have been.
Zvonik, everything is a threat.
Hmm.
Only if I need it to be.
Alright,
All of it needs to. All of it is. So yeah, we're gonna head over
alright.
to
I'm
the
gonna-
general store, trying to avoid Isaac.
The
Was
sake
that-
of brevity, what was it you would like to purchase from the store? We will not go there, we'll just do this to waste some time on the overworld.
I believe 5 rations each.
Okay.
Let's say so.
Just let me get
Sounds
the
reasonable.
adventure.
By the way, here's your gold coin back.
Oh, thank you.
Master's Guide.
We managed to play them like a fiddle.
Well, you appear to have made a good impression on them at least.
Yep.
Okay then. So, you want how many rations?
5 rations each, let's say.
Okay. I tried to search the price of rations, and it showed me the cost of a draft horse.
No, we want rations, no draft
mean,
Well,
horses.
fancy. I don't think we're going for Tesco ready meals.
Don't think we're that hungry.
There we are. Okay, so let's see. So 5 rations each. So that is 2, 3. That will cost you 3 gold each.
Okay.
That should be possible.
Okay. Irina is going to get in on that as well. I just need to make the deduction from her inventory.
Running low on gold now.
What do we have here?
So it's just
Yes, I'm just gonna-
her inventory.
I'm just going to play my whistle like Sylvester McCoy.
Roll performance.
There we go.
Well, you might be more cut out for that bar job than I am.
Yeah, you take your time this time to feel out the notes, and you're able to pull off a rather competent song. It sounds quite nice.
Actually, I would like to inquire if they have a deck of illusions.
A deck of illusions,
Yep,
as in the magical item.
as in the magical item.
They kind of the shopkeeper kind of looks over to his wife, and his wife shrugs. He says, "We ain't got no magical stuff like that, mate.
Okay.
Sorry."
Nah, not a problem. I was just thinking, maybe you have something like that. I mean, a regular deck of cards you do have.
We do have a plain deck of cards.
Yeah.
Would you like it?
I think. Yeah, I'd like to have one.
Alright, he fishes it out. Seems to be relatively plain. They have just a base, flat black color backing. He sets them on there and says 7 silver.
7 silver. Okay. That way we can actually train now. Stuff. So here you go, sir.
Alright. Would anyone else like to get anything?
I am good.
So, I hope you don't mind me asking, but is busking allowed in this town?
Yeah, as long as you're decent.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, so you can busk, I shouldn't.
Yes,
So great dive in with the accordion.
well, maybe just a bit of practice should be okay. A bit of maintenance work.
Yeah. Need to work on my fingering. It knows
Well,
well, that's no reason for you to chuckle. I can see you.
I'm not
You don't have-
chuckling, I'm disgusted.
Zabornik, as you're looking around the shop, the the shopkeeper beckons you closer.
Yes, what is it?
He glances over to make sure his wife isn't paying attention, and leans in and says, "She loved the caramel. Thank you." And slides 3 small bags towards you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very glad that I could help.
He gives you a grin and a wink. Quick, before she sees.
Sir?
Yeah,
yeah.
Zabornik just hurriedly gathers up the bags and puts them in her pack.
Do you have any potions of healing left?
Potions of healing.
You know, the red potion stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
Not the blue, not the blue ones. Do you have some? Might be a little bit useful for us.
I have 2 of them, but they're pretty expensive.
How much would you need to part with them?
60 gold each.
60 gold each, okay. That's unfortunately a little bit outside of my price range. Terribly sorry.
Well, what is your price range? We might be able to talk a deal.
I'm fairly certain it is nowhere near what you would require.
Well, sorry to hear
I
that.
could only have parted with 15 gold, unfortunately, and that doesn't cover your costs, I'm afraid.
Definitely not, I'm afraid.
She's
Alright.
terribly sorry to have bothered you about them.
No problem. Zabornik, he also handed you 3 bags of those sweets.
Of the
Excellent.
boiled sweets.
Yeah. What was it I called them? The berry crunch?
The crunch berries,
crunch
yes.
berries.
Yeah, the crunch berries. So you now have
Yes.
3 bags with between 10 and 15 in each bag.
Thank you very much.
So you have more hard candy.
Yes, you don't have more hard candy than you can throw a small child at.
Leave Yesha alone.
Just
I'm
like a
not
horrible
saying
thought.
Yasha, I'm just saying a small child, not the small child.
This is a horrible thought. Zabonak's debut into adult entertainment is titled Hard Candy.
No, she does not have a cart that says free candy on the side. She's not that kind of person.
Well, we do know a certain old lady who did have a cart with a small child in it.
I'm sorry, creature, I didn't want to impress myself on your character.
I'm sorry, but Bloody
And
Luigi has
no
said in the
offense
chat.
taken, thank you very much.
Bloody Luigi has said in the chat, would you like some hard candy? When you hear that phrase, run, everyone's in danger.
Well, it's a turtle, so every candy is hard in a way.
God.
Again, I shouldn't work on my Zbornik impression.
Maybe it will be easier for you once I finally nail the voice.
Stop looting the
It
turtle.
should be probably easier
Stop
if I
looting the
learn
turtle.
how to do your voice as well.
We're not looting the
Nice.
turtle. The turtle's looting itself. We're just encouraging.
I feel like you've kind of slipped into a Dalek there for a second.
Do you have,
No, I do not sound like a Dalek.
do I have to break out the image of the turtle throat again?
No, I don't need that. That would be rather upsetting.
Oh my
Support
god.
in hard candy.
Hard candy, rated R.
Jesus.
Surrender the sugars.
We are going to kill Sephi before the end of this session.
Well,
What a way
and we
to go.
work with this reanimated corpse. It's easy that way.
As we all know, Dungeons and Dragons is the tool of Satan, and that's how we do it.
Yes. There.
Okay then. So, do you have any other business in the shop?
Not that I can think of.
God damn it, Bloody.
What's happening now?
Bloody has said this in the chat. I'm just going to pop it in the Dice&Dolts chat.
Rated
Okay.
hard, yes. Really hard.
Sweet Lord.
That is a real hard rating. And also, I want a hobby horse now. I don't know why.
We can always head back to the toy shop.
At least I wasn't saying it's a cockhouse, which is apparently the other name for those horses that you ride because they're just a broomstick. Yeah.
Have you ever wondered what else button ups and broomsticks are used for?
Well, looking at the shopkeep, I
The
have no
shopkeeper is
idea.
looking between you four now and is looking really, really confused and slightly concerned.
Especially since we keep talking with other people's voices.
So, if you don't need anything else, perhaps you can vacate the premises?
Yes,
Cool,
most
sir.
certainly. We have other places to soil.
To soy?
I can never watch Murder She Wrote again.
Yeah, she means entertain with our antics.
Yes, sully with our presence.
You aren't helping.
I
we've
trust this
established
part
that.
of the conversation is not canon.
Oh, it is not.
Of course
No.
it isn't.
It is hilarious, though.
Yes,
Okay.
but not canon. It's not happening.
Uh,
So
It was a
what?
dream.
There was something in those crunch berries.
Yes. Did you put dream pastries in there? Into these cranberries.
that reminds me, doesn't one of you still have a dream pastry?
No, never bought it.
Okay.
I thought we had
What you
one.
did? What you did?
Didn't
No,
Reister
we
buy
didn't.
one?
No, I wanted to buy one, and then I saw that we were at the windmill, and then I thought, probably not a good idea to approach that woman
Okay then.
at her homestead.
So then, you
We actually avoided doing that. But Irina would have been upset,
That's true.
and we would have had to kill the entire coven of the witches,
Instead of, killing a lot of time like we usually do.
Yep.
like we just did.
Yeah. That's why I said for the sake of brevity, we'll just do that, and I'm glad I did. So then,
Yeah.
you have returned down the road, and you're outside the Blue Water Inn. Do you continue onward, or where do you go?
Well,
I wouldn't mind trying my luck busking for a few coppers.
Sure.
Well-
There's not very many people in the thoroughfare. If
Well-
you move a little bit closer to the town square, you could probably find more people.
Yeah. I'd probably go to about
not too close to the
Yeah,
town
sure.
square because
about there.
we don't want people to have their grins slip.
So I'm gonna whip out my whistle.
Okay.
I think we can organise so
Oh,
that works
although
for
I
you.
haven't- Yeah, that didn't work. Rolled a 4.
I try to cover for you. I'm not doing much better. I think we should stop before they start throwing those tomatoes in there.
Yes.
Ouch.
Did you really have to throw them in a bottle?
Wow.
Alright.
Save me some of that tomato.
Anyone got the number of that cart that went over me? Drove
No.
into me?
So, you you set yourself up, you put a little hat on the ground, your companions stand away as to not intimidate possible donators, and you pipe out your tune. But as a few people stop to watch you, nerves get the better, and you start slipping your notes, and they start shaking their heads and turning away. There's a nearby guard by a notice board who starts giving you the stink eye, and you get the impression that perhaps you should move on.
Yeah.
We should probably rather do, if only I knew how to juggle.
You have, as you scoop up your hat, you find that you have you have 5 pity coppers in your hat.
5 pity coppers, and strangely enough buttons to fix a whole coat with.
So I'll take 2 coppers and spread the rest out.
1 copper each.
Wow, how generous.
Irina just kind of pushes the copper back into your hand and says, I think I'm alright.
Fair enough. I give the spare copper to Reister.
You keep it. You keep it. I mean, God damn it, that turtle's fast.
Alright. So you follow the turtle back up to the main crossroads.
Follow the turtle back home, yes. Follow the turtle back home. Follow the turtle back home.
Follow my turtle back home.
At least we can sing better than we can.
That's true.
As you catch up with Zabornik, you find she has somehow acquired a tomato and is munching into it.
Well, at least
Oh, you
Nice.
were throwing that.
I cannot confirm nor deny this claim.
Well,
Besides, why would I waste perfectly good food?
good question. But did you have to throw so hard?
Did you have to try so hard?
If you don't behave, I'm going to start up again while we're outside.
As you continue this conversation, you head further west, passing the Blue Water Inn, passing the church, and you can see as
Did
you
we
pass
want
the
to
graveyard.
leave? Did we want to leave already? We don't have the shield yet.
Yeah, we were just kind of wasting time, weren't we?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Sorry, retcon. You get to the crossroad and head downwards towards Binksy's toys.
He said he would have it ready either in the evening or tomorrow.
Okay. You head back into the shop, and you hear the tinkle of the little bell, and somewhere within the stacks, you hear the chiming voice of Binksy. Welcome, friends, to the house of Binksy, where happiness and smiles can be brought at bargain prices. Perhaps you know a little child in need of joy, a little toy
You don't
for a
need to
girl
bring
or
the
boy.
spiel.
Oh, yeah!
Just as.
Ah, my friends, welcome back, welcome. Would you believe I actually have the shield finished? I didn't have as much work needed done as I thought, so I went ahead and finished it off.
What a fortunate narrative coincidence.
Yes, it is very fortunate, isn't it? It's almost as if there's some force of power that wants us to stop fucking around.
Well, I hope the force of nature doesn't want us to go actually fucking. Because that might be rather infectious.
We were just over that.
Yes.
I have no idea what I'm going to do to you guys today. He goes around to his workbench. Irina is forcing her eyes away from the doll. And you can see...
Maybe you should put the doll aside, my friend. Just so that it does not distract or get damaged.
Oh yes, good point. If it has paint on it, Isaac will have words with me, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do understand.
He holds up the
You will
flat of
have
his
you will
hand
have
and
to
puts his fist
close.
into it.
You will have to put close an eye when doing the work, if you know what I mean.
He puts a little cloth over the doll and pushes it to the side. On the work table, you can see Irina's shield popped up. You can see that he's polished it off a little bit and given it a nice base coat. He didn't go all out with the graphics, but pointed the symbol of the Morning Lord and gave it a few flourishes and gilding around the edge. It is still a little bit wet. I would not recommend using it anytime soon, but perhaps if you hold it in the sun for an hour or so, it will dry nicely. I would prefer it stay here, but if you really need it...
Unfortunately, we might want to bring it out at least a little bit.
Yes, okay. I see. Just give me a moment. He heads over, lifts his tiny brush again, and you can see him just finishing off a few details around the crest of the shield. Just give me a few moments. Why don't you browse my wares, and I will finish this off, and then you will be good to go, yes?
I'm going to practice the whistle again. That's better.
Much better acoustics in here.
You have improved, my friend. You have improved greatly. It's good to see.
You haven't heard him out on the street. That was rather impressive. Maybe Maybe if we were to do a correspondence course, we would see you improve on your performance skills.
Just
Surely.
a little.
I'm
Just a little.
not sure how effective correspondence course will be for teaching of music, but if it helps you, it helps you. But
It helps at least learning a few tricks of the trade when it comes to performance anxiety, performing in front of crowds. At least a few tips.
by
That is
reading a
true.
letter, I don't know
Yeah,
about that.
it's remarkable what a good tutor can do, even if they're not with you.
I do not agree, but if you say so, my friend, if you say so.
It doesn't help with the techniques, unfortunately, but it helps at least, as I said, a little
Yes, if you do not
to
have
learn how to deal with crowds that you're trying to please with your music.
do not have a tutor over your shoulder telling you are doing it wrong, you'll keep doing the wrong thing. But who am I to say about music? I could tell you about toys and mechanical things, but music, I'm not so good. So here, this should now be it. He steps away and he just kind of sweeps his hand over the shield to show you his lovely painting.
Magnificent.
Yes, I am quite proud of this. But
Have you been using gold leaf?
No, no. I do not have
Then
the
your
coin
drawing
for that.
techniques are magnificent because that looks like gold leaf here in the center.
Yes, it's very, very good paint. But as I said, I would recommend not using this anytime soon. If you're going to be carrying it, carry it in direct sunlight. Do not let dust or leaves blow on it, or it will ruin the paint job.
And do you have any varnish that we could apply on top of it to protect your work?
The varnish has been applied. That is what I was doing. Were you not watching?
I'm terribly sorry. It
That's
looked like you were still applying pigment, not varnish.
Yes, I finished the pigment and then do the varnish over the top. I am not. That's not.
I
savage,
must.
my
I
friend.
my mind must have slipped. I'm terribly sorry, my friend.
You do not watch. You do not learn. How do you do? How do you not learn if you do not watch? But yes. Anyway, here you go.
I do fear I'm not born to be a painter.
He just kind of pats you on the shoulder and then hoists the shield. You can see he has a bit of trouble with it as he hands it over to Irina, and she very gently slings it over her shoulder, making sure that the paint doesn't touch anything. She hands over the payment and then looks to you guys and nods.
I think then we should be moving right along.
Very good.
Agreed.
Very good. Thank you again for your custom, and if you have many other things, you can come straight back here.
And if we find anything that might be interesting to you, we'll come here as well.
I would very much appreciate that, my friends. Okay. He
Okay.
gives you a wave as you head outside.
What a nice man.
Yes, it's a shame that his business isn't going too well right now.
Maybe it's gonna get better once we've cleaned this place up.
Yes, when we've managed to deal with the issues in town and outside.
Yes.
But for now, I would suggest we head towards the liquid happiness.
That is agreed.
That is one way to put it. I just don't deform everything. Alright, so again, let's head onwards.
Yes. And I asked the guard at the gate, can you tell me which way it is towards the Wizard of Wines?
The Wizard of Wines.
Yes.
He kind of scratches his chin as he looks over your motley crew. If you head... Well,
sorry,
if,
we're just trying to help.
if you keep heading west, that way you'll come across a crossroad, keep heading west, and then you'll find a sign with a road that heads south.
All right. Thank you very much,
You
sir.
sure you really want to be going out now, though?
I mean, there's no time. If we secure the wine for the festivities, it would be a great contribution, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's just that you're going to be
Yeah,
stuck in the woods at night, mate.
Yes, I understand that.
No, the woods are gonna be stuck with us.
That's another way to put it.
I don't quite think your turtle friend grasps the scenario, but if you're really sure, we're not going to stop you.
Well, vote of confidence. Who wants to go? Who wants to stay?
Well, I assure you, the moment we start screaming blue murder and herring on the gates, we'll let you know.
Just know these gates don't open at night.
I had gathered that.
I'm fairly certain we will be able to manage. What do you say,
I'd say so.
Madame Zbornak?
I believe we can handle ourselves as before.
And you, Gabriella?
Oh, I'm pretty sure we can do it.
Well, in that case, it is said. Would you mind letting us through then? I know it's our funeral.
He just kind of shakes his head and opens up the gate and lets you step out into the countryside.
Sorry about that, my microphone just cut it out.
That's fine. I'm getting really pissed off with this new Roll20 jukebox. It just keeps cutting
dear.
out the music. Oh well.
Yeah, the interface might be a little bit wonky.
Just slightly. So I'm assuming that this is where we're going.
Yes, ultimately it is.
Right.
So crossroad until we see the signpost that directs us to the Wizard of Wine.
Basically, second left.
Yes. Though, I from what we know, we wouldn't necessarily know there might be smaller paths along the way.
Fair enough.
From in-character standpoint. Alright.
Yeah, I don't think we have a map, so.
Well, we
we
do
do.
have one, but still.
You do have one, but it's not really all that detailed.
Yeah.
Hence why I said,
Yeah.
till we see the signpost directing us to the Wizard of Wines.
Okay. So, you head out of town and start moving to the west. You arrive at a stone bridge crossing a gently flowing river. To the north, you can see the river open up into a large lake. To the south, the river disappears into the woods and into the mountains. On the bridge, you see a raven watching your group.
Here's our friends returned.
Can you try talking to him?
Well, ravens are smart. I'm gonna try in common first. Do we know you, young man?
The raven stops pecking at whatever it was pecking at and just looks at your group. It tilts its head slightly and flies off.
Dang it. Doesn't seem like we know that one.
Shall we wait a little?
I'd say not.
Yeah, seems
Well-
funny.
If the raven's our friend,
They'll
then,
find us if they need.
then he'll find us. He'll have a better overview of the place than we do.
Okay, so you just continue onward.
Yep.
I'd say so.
Okay. The road comes to a crossroads, with branches to the northwest, the northeast, southwest, and southeast. The lower half of a snapped wooden signpost thrust upwards at an angle near the eastern elbow of the intersection. The top half of the sign, featuring the arms pointed in all directions, lies in the weeds nearby.
Well,
we know which way, so we'll be able to work out from that which way is which.
that's if Valaki's on the signpost.
I'd probably say it is.
Alright, let's take a look at it then.
Okay.
Okay. He's picking up the signpost.
Yes, I pick it up and then turn so it's the time for Valaki's pointing towards Valaki.
All right. You take a moment to orientate the heavy wooden signpost, pointing back the way you came, and you can see that the other arms indicate Kresik and Tosoka Pass are to the southwest, Lake Baratok is to the northwest, Valaki and Ravenloft to the northeast, and Bariz to the southeast.
Well, neither of these mention the Wizards
Arena,
of Wine.
mind lending me the map for a second?
Okay. She hands you over the map. It isn't very detailed in this section, but it does show some of the main roads, and some settlements are marked on it, but there's no labeling. All the labeling that is currently on it has been written on.
So, over here, that's Valaki.
Mm-hmm.
I scribble on it with a piece of coal.
It's already labelled.
Alright. Then, let me see. Well, it looks like the path up here leads to that lake over here. That would... like Baratok? Possibly?
One second.
Would be that...
Nicola, didn't you say that the Selenka Pass was the south... say southwest?
Yes.
Right, it's just that the pass is here, so... Are we at the right... Are we at the wrong crossroads or something?
No, it's
Or
still to the southwest.
Not fair enough.
Maybe
You
someone
still have to travel the southwestern road to get there.
Yeah, fair enough.
It might just be the wrong head. If things are weird.
Well,
Pardon?
oh, just thinking.
If
I'd say...
Well, the god did say to keep heading west at the crossroad.
Yes, he said so, yeah. Let's head west then.
Agreed, let's carry on the way we're going.
Yeah, he said crossroad, move on, and then look for the signpost.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's move on.
Alright. Excuse me.
Unless you want to set up camp here at the river. Which... what's that river called? Lunar River, maybe.
That could be an idea.
I mean, it's a place where we can see everywhere instead of on the road where we're surrounded by woods, giving cover.
And we do have running water as well.
That is possible.
That's of importance. I'm sorry, I'm not skilled in vampires.
Irina kind of glances up at the sky. It is getting on to the evening, and running water would be a bonus.
At least we could easily wash ourselves.
That too.
If you say
Not
so.
to forget the tea.
Okay, tea, whatever. Yeah, I think we should... Who has the other half of the tent?
I do.
All right, then we better set up camp here.
Okay.
Okay.
Arena, if you don't mind, we'll have you stay in the tent for the night.
That sounds like a good idea. So are you backtracking a little bit east towards the river?
Just
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's
Just
head off the
roughly
road.
run on the banks of the river.
He's head off the road and down into the banks. Bye, Bloody. Have a good night.
Good night,
Night.
Bloody.
Night, bloody.
For the sake of brevity. Du-du-du. Give me a moment.
Just put us on a blank map if necessary.
No, you see, I have preparations made.
Ooh.
All right.
Very nice.
That looks rather familiar.
Shh! It's not the same. I've lost Specky.
Given
geez.
that this was one of the maps prior to you acquiring the dynamic lighting, so
That is
well,
true.
yeah.
Good luck finding a potato in the woods, though.
Oh, sir. Yeah, there.
Magical potatoes.
Mm-hmm. It is. See the things
Well,
I do
as
for
a-
you guys.
I think we should set up tent.
Indeed.
There.
All right, but yeah, I would have originally I would have said it probably somewhere around here, but over there is okay as well.
Okay.
I trust that something's happening. I can't see Jack.
We're working on it.
And I'm telling Arena, I'm going to put a little bell there as well again to make certain that if you were to leave, or if anyone tried to get into there, will be made aware.
There you go, Zabornik.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And yes, I'm giving it a little bit work to make it a little less obvious.
Camouflaging the tent.
Yes, and the trap especially. What does that require from me?
I would say roll a nature check.
And I'm not trying to figure out if nature's working. I'm trying to deceive someone, so it technically would be a deception check.
Well, I was thinking more a nature check so you can get the right items to match in with the surrounding foliage.
Okay. That'll
The word
do.
of God has spoken.
Yep.
Yeah, you managed to do that quite easily. Okay. So, you take the time to disguise the tent, and your friend, Arena, helps you along with it as well.
There, that pebble over there, that should actually work wonders. You could barely see the tent from over here.
If you say so.
Sir Alan,
Yes?
can you easily spot the tent? If you didn't know it was there?
I'm going to take a perception.
No performance check.
I would say so, yes.
You could see your hand in front of your own face, though, could you?
Yes, I could.
Are you certain?
Certain.
All right. Smonek,
Yeah.
I know you're not very well with low light, but could you put an eye out to see if you can spot the tent easily?
You did a pretty good job considering that I know the words.
I consider this high praise. All right, we should be good. Still, I would say we keep watches. Sir Alan, Sponik.
Okay, I'll take the first watch.
All right, I'll take the midnight watch, basically the middle watch.
Okay.
And Sponik, you take the last watch then.
Yes, I like to rise in the morning anyway. That's true.
I have to make certain that you're awake then. So don't get mad at me if I shake you violently.
You can also give me a nice spin.
We're not here to dance breaks.
If you
God,
wake
that
me,
was
I'll do the
painful.
last watch with you, Zabonic.
Oh, I would like the company. I can make you some nice tea.
I would like that.
Well,
Yuri just
then,
kind of
have a good night.
crawls into the tent and lies down.
I set the last bit of the trap so that it rings the bell. It alerts us. Just in case we doze off.
Okay. So you have the trap set. Was there anything you'd like to do before you settle in for the night?
The fact I think of.
Actually, I would like to put a few ball bearings in front of the tent.
Sure.
Just dropping a few ball bearings, a little spot where someone would start to stumble and fall.
Alright. See as you go to head towards the entrance of the tent, roll me a quick perception check.
Alrighty. That's a 24.
Oh, you well spotted. Just inside the entrance of the tent is a line of caltrops.
Ah, good thinking, Arena. Good thinking.
Well, if I am charmed again, the pain will stab me out of it.
And if that won't work, I'll put a few stumble marks in the way as well. and I hold up the bag of ball bearings.
I suppose that would work. That was supposed to be a very comical scene, wouldn't it?
It might be comical, but it will be making certain that we'll notice.
Very well.
Have a good night.
And you. There is room for two in this tent if any of you want to come in out of the cold.
I have my own dwelling, thank you.
I do not think it would be right for me to rest in your tent.
Always a gentleman.
Not always.
She kind of raises her eyebrow at you.
You don't want to know what I've been up to sometimes.
Well, now I'm just curious.
Maybe when all this is said and done, I'll let you know.
I'd like that.
Well, Sir Ellen,
Yes?
I'll be putting out my bedroll. You just let me know
Certainly.
when it's my turn.
Okay, I'm going to put my goggles on now. You know, my night vision goggles.
Let me just give that to you. You should already have the night vision goggles put on there.
Oh, you've already. I mean, I pulled them down on Silco. Actually, got them active.
Yeah, you should be able to see that at night now.
Yeah.
I just basically have the default night vision on because I always assume you're going to put them on.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a nice assumption to make. Alright, so then. Are you all turning in?
Mm-hmm.
And who is taking the first watch?
I'm taking first watch.
Alright then. Roll me a perception check. Okay. The night closes in around you. The darkness fills the woods, and you can hear the rustling of the trees in the breeze. The night feels cold around you. You can see the mist lingering between the trees. You thought you hear something in the bushes, but as you turn your eyes towards it, you see it is just a fox. It disappears back into the undergrowth as it notices your gaze.
I'm going to use Divine Sense.
You sense nothing.
Okay.
Your watch passes with no further event.
Okay. Right, who's next?
Oh, that would have been me.
Okay, Resta. I just kind of prop myself up against the rock where I am.
Okay.
Anything unusual?
Nothing really, just a small animal, but other than that, nothing to report really.
Nothing unusual. Just the fog.
Yep, just a frog.
Is it just me, or has it come closer?
It has slightly.
All right, gotta keep an eye out for that. Don't want it to get too close.
That's true.
You have a good night. I'm gonna keep my eyes open now.
Okay.
Okay.
And with that, my watch starts.
And now your watch begins. Okay.
Just in case you need the perception check.
Thank you. You feel a little nervous about the fog and the mist. You thought it had closed in, but it appears to be just a trick of the mind and the darkness of the night. You can't quite see the stars above you, and it makes you feel a little uneasy.
Well, it's always cloudy in here, so...
You glance around the camp to assure yourself that your companions are still there, still asleep.
At least no music's coming from her.
You feel yourself starting to drift off, but you catch yourself.
Oh.
You can't fall asleep just yet.
No. Must stay awake. It's my
You
job.
think you hear something in the distance. This catches your
Mother?
attention. You sit up, scanning the trees, and you hear it again.
Who goes there?
As you stand and look around, you hear the water of the stream being disturbed. To the west.
What's going on?
You hear it again. A heavy, sloshing sound.
Ez, is that you? Okay, that's not as.
You hear the sloshing sound again, and the crunch of booted feet on gravel.
I wake up Sir Elaine.
What is it?
We seem to have we seem to have some sort of company.
I see.
Can barely make out. Is that a human figure?
I can't quite tell.
The figure
Good
walks
description.
alone, the stride and bearing of one who knows no fear. He's clad in rusty armour and clutches a gleaming longsword in its pale hand. It looks around and notices the firelight and seems to be heading towards it.
I will try
Who
and
are
see
you?
if I can tell what it is.
The creature
Is there a way-
turns to your voices. You see the pale flesh almost slothing off the bones of the creature. Its hands are bony, and in some places the bones itself poke through its skin.
Would I be able to identify it?
You
It's
can
irrelevant.
roll an insight check. Okay. At first,
Then
you thought it was a zombie and you reached for your weapon, but you see something in its eyes as the light heats its face. You see the intelligence and utter hatred in its eyes.
What
It
is it?
appears
Is
to
it-
be wearing what was once finely crafted armor. Absolutely ravaged tabard hangs loosely around its frame.
Would I be able to recognise any symbols on the tabard?
Roll a history check.
History.
The imagery is too badly faded and shredded to know. The creature steps forward again. It looks you in the face, glances you up and down. Who do you serve?
I serve the Lady Selune, goddess of the moon.
It walks past you and to Reister. Who do you serve?
The just. The right. Not a god by itself.
I give you my word as a paladin, he is trustworthy.
The creature's head turns at you and you can hear the crack of its neck as it turns. What say you of the darkness in these lands?
This is an evil that needs to be dealt with.
To that I agree.
You see the faded flesh around the corner of its mouth twitch and a smile. Then we have a common foe. There are others who fight, but we are cursed, trapped in these desecrated forms.
Is
Travel.
there anything we could do?
Yes. Travel to Argenholzvold. Speak to our leader, Vladimir Horngard, leader of the Silver Dragons. His corruption has led to our doom.
But we would welcome any allies against Strahd.
Do not speak his name. As you say that,
You
it
should have,
it tightens its grip on the sword and looks absolutely
Sir
furious.
Elaine. You should have known that. We
Are
are
you
not
not-
of these. We are not of these lands, just like you probably were not at one time.
This was our home.
It was. I apologize.
It came, conquered our realm.
I apologize for
turned
any-
to darkness.
I apologize for any offense I may have caused, but I do not fear the creature.
Then you're a fool.
Sometimes fools are necessary.
Sometimes the fool is.
Only die. Speak to our leader. While he holds us, we cannot fight him. But I can deal with his minions.
And then we thank you for your aid. May I ask your name?
He turns and looks at you, and his face just twists into this horrendous mask of grief as he just shakes his head. That
It
was
seems he
what
has
they
lost
took
it.
from me. Took from all of us.
Then I wish you well in the remainder of the night.
Pray your foolishness does not end you as it did to us. And the
Yeah,
creature
that wasn't unexpected.
heads
visitor.
off into the night.
So we may find yet more allies.
Question is, allies and foes. Seeing as he said that their leader has corrupted, or at least he could be understood that way. There is a corruption even those walk the realm unable to pass on to a future, walking in ragged skins. Anyway, you keep your eyes shut for a little bit.
Okay.
It'll still be a little bit until the next watch.
Okay.
Go a
Let's
little
go.
rest.
So I get down again.
And I step over to the fire and try to poke holes into the fog with my sight.
Okay. Your watch drags on. After a few hours, you hear the distant howl of a wolf, joined by a few more, only to be cut off in a sharp end. And you get the feeling your armored friend found servants of Strahd.
Fairly certain. It wasn't that friend, it might have been our other friends.
Yep.
After all, they're still out there.
The legendary
And
wolf
you're
fighter.
sleeping!
I'm murmuring in my sleep.
You get the feeling your armored friend may have found a servant of Strahd as he said he was looking for.
Yeah. Hope things didn't end too worse for
The night moves on, and the faint pinkish light starts to perfuse about the mist as dawn approaches.
Well,
Hello,
time,
Doug.
time to wake up Zvonek. Hold on, watch and get a little bit of should I myself?
Uh,
I spin Zbornik around like she requested. Zbornik, it's time for your watch. I'm going to get a little bit of shut eye.
I'm very up at the forest.
Look, I need you to be out of here. At least with the head. I don't care what you do with the rest.
I'm up. I am up.
I see you're less a morning person than I am.
Sure, let's go with that. Also, it's not morning, it's deep in the night, and I'm gonna take my watch, okay, guys?
Thank you. With that, I put my head to the mat next to the campfire.
And Zbornik takes post round here to keep an eye on the pathways.
And roll perception.
Percepticon.
Okay. You glance around the woods. You don't hear anything in particular. You notice a few heavy-set footprints over here and here, but they hid away from the camp. You think to yourself, they were probably there before. Nothing to worry about. You glance around, be a little bit distracted over some rather tasty-looking bushes just south of camp. But
these are fresh.
nothing catches your eye. As the dawn starts to creep in, and light starts to filter through the fog, and you finally get a better view of the surrounding land.
Zbornik puts on a kettle of tea and goes to wake up Arena.
Oh.
Dearie,
Oops.
morning. You wanted to get up a bit early?
Oh. Thank you, Zbornik.
Here, have a cup of tea.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it was a rather cold night, wasn't it?
Can get chilly near the water.
I could have sworn I heard voices last night.
No, we're not alone here, are we?
That's a rather frightening statement right there, Zbornik. But I get your meaning. Sir
Yes.
Lane and Reister were probably having a conversation behind the tent.
Would be the first time they were awake and didn't say anything, so yeah.
I'm still asleep at this point.
Ladies, you're talking very loudly.
Yeah, I guess I'll keep it
Just
down.
Sorry, Reister.
Not a problem. If you were talking about voices?
Yes. I thought I heard you and Sir Lane speaking last night.
Yes, we had a face from around these lands visit us.
Arena
Nothing
kind
to
of
worry about.
stiffens and looks around.
Nothing to worry about. He's on our side.
Who was it?
Someone who has been losing his name, apparently. He had lost his name when a certain someone came here. Came to the lands.
But
You know who I'm talking about.
yes, but he came here over 400 years ago. How could he possibly have been here during that time?
You know how the spirits of those who are around get reborn here?
Yes.
Well, that person never left their original bodies.
You mean he was undead?
Technically, yes.
But
Or at least
Yeah.
it seemed that way. But he was not under the control of Necromancer.
But
Yeah,
all
poor
undead
crunchy
serves
guy.
him. Are you sure you could trust this thing?
I can trust. He gave me no reason to distrust him. If he were working for that thing, he would have tried slaying us.
I'm gonna say, would I be able to know? Would I know what a revenant is?
Roll me an intelligence.
Would it be?
check.
Intelligence.
Gonna try on that.
It would be an Arcana check otherwise.
Intelligence. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
a
is
save.
this? No.
I saved. I'm
I would say, Sir Elaine, you have an idea, but you can't quite put your finger on it. But Zabornik, you do remember certain creatures. Once men, but if they died with particularly strong feelings, such as hatred or determination to finish a goal, they would come back as a creature known as a revenant, which is essentially an undead who cannot rest until they complete their goal. Even if their physical form is destroyed, they'll come back. And that makes you remember someone else you met at night once camping.
Who was under control for the
So
party?
Zabornik relays that information and adds,
And you know, if people cannot leave their bodies and linger, they may be easier to get under magical control too. After all, they're already imbued with the spiritual, and their brains are not exactly, well, brains are not supposed to be crunchy, you know.
Wait, are you telling me that the friend of Ez's...
Peaches.
Yes, Peaches. Thank you. Was a revenant himself?
It seems likely, doesn't it?
Or at least started out as one.
Yeah, I think there's something else going on there too, but
Well,
I feel like we've figured out part of that puzzle.
he seems
Might
to be
actually-
under Strahd's control, at least until he saw
What?
Ez.
Name.
Yes, but he had the gemstone. Our visitor last night didn't. Or did he? You got a good look at him, Sir Ellen.
I believe so. Ez did crush the crystal. I don't think that could be his soul back.
But the gem tried to burrow into Ez and
I
drove him mad for a moment. I think the gem is what let who control Peaches.
I believe so.
That checks out. Gemstones
yeah.
kind of mythical.
Yes, it seems like it. That's what the wisdom check was for. Whether or not Reister would be able to come up with the diagram basically of a possible set.
Sorry,
So
what are you
I
trying to do, Reister?
I was just trying to figure out whether or not I would get the logical path would be wise enough to consider this.
Well, Sir Lane, you sit and ponder, and you do remember in your teachings that necromancers did occasionally use crystals and gems in their rituals.
And crystal gems.
Yep, I just realised what I said. Yep.
Yeah. I do recall that necromancers did sometimes use them as a form of focus for energy.
Well,
Possible that he's using the crystals as a form of focus.
As a way to get into the soul?
Didn't he say his soul was trapped somewhere else?
He did.
Yes. But when the soul is somewhere else, it can come out the body.
Well, perhaps that's what the gem is. While his soul is trapped elsewhere, the gem compels the body.
Possible.
It's possible.
I hope we never run into him or... so we have to test the theory. I can hear you, Jurnis.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, it's just... I said I hope we never run into him again. His character token is currently right behind you on the DM layer.
I assume that's not a spoiler.
No,
that's still from the old encounter.
it's from the old
That's
encounter.
weird.
I just didn't have time to remove it.
But what I mean is,
Boom.
I just hope. Where did you come from?
Sorry, go on. Serious moment.
I just hope we don't have to test our theory.
Agreed.
Well, I think...
At least not without proper preparation.
Yeah,
Well,
we should
as-
probably always wear gloves from precious stones.
That seems like a wise idea. I wonder how
Okay.
Ez, Ovak, and Siegbald are doing.
Well, considering that we now have more people with similar goals, they should be doing okay.
Perhaps.
I'm just trying to hide my slight blushing.
It's just I haven't seen Ez so distracted since that last night. I hope she doesn't do something stupid.
I'm sure she'll be fine. She has her back with.
I'm certain she will stumble into bad ideas,
Uh-huh.
but there will be people who pull her back.
Besides, if there's anything she's really good at, it's surviving.
That too.
That is true. Well, I suppose those are good points, but I can't help but still be worried.
Trust me, we all are.
Agreed.
After all,
Of course.
we don't want to see any of our friends suffer any harm,
Yeah.
including you and your brother. I hope he's doing fine.
Renina, remember that.
You can see she looks a little bit grim and starts looking into the dying embers of the fire.
Well,
I believe we should probably start going again.
Zvonek, you got any tea left, or
Oh yeah, serve yourself. I thought you didn't want any, but go ahead.
I can use some tea right now
Yeah.
to put a little spring in my step.
Okay. Do you each want to mark a days of a portion of rations off your sheet?
Yep.
Sure.
And just have a quick breakfast.
Almost full. Jeez, I still had so many. Okay.
All right, let's pack up and move on.
That seems like a good idea.
We will probably find more answers when we're at the Wizard of Wine.
Perhaps.
Not all the answers, but more. Careful, those ball bearings can be tricky.
Anyway,
Oh, that
God
off
damn
to
it,
see
I-
the wizard.
Be careful.
God damn it,
of the
I've lost a
caltrops.
few. I've lost a few.
Irina scurries over to the entrance of the tent and starts scooping up her caltrops again.
Well, I've heard of losing your bearings. on.
No, I'm just losing my ball. I'm losing my ball bearings. That's something different. I still know where I am. Front of a computer. Wait, no.
Alright. I would like you all to roll me a survival check to see if you can find your way back to the road. Alright. Sir Elaine, you kind of look around the trees and you silently think to yourself, oh shit, I don't know where the road is. But as you watch your companions, Reister and Zabornak, gather their stuff and confidently stride towards the north.
Always follow the moss. Don't forget that I carry half of the tent. Sir Elaine, you take the other half.
Yep, I've got it.
Alright.
You just take the tent, gather things together, and find yourselves heading back towards the road.
We just look on. I'm a little bit on the lookout for
For what now?
a raven. Blackbird.
Roll me a perception check.
Nope, I'm not seeing any.
Nope.
Seeing him nevermore.
But it looks like this one is. This is actually no. That's a tree.
As
No, that's another tree.
swivel your head around and have a look in trees, trying to find a raven, you aren't really watching where your footing is. You catch your toe on a stone and stumble. You don't fall, but you feel a little embarrassed.
Oh. Well,
Reminds me of the time I stubbed my toe on the writing desk.
how's a raven like a writing desk?
The world may never
I
know.
should just call this fucking episode Puns and Innuendos. Jesus Christ.
Mike, you were saying something.
Oh, nothing, just a no joke.
I just saw something over your head. It's nothing.
These are bad.
Considering last week I took someone's head off.
Oh my
Well,
God.
today's the puniversary.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pandemonium.
I was avoiding that joke.
But I wasn't.
Yeah.
You're
All right.
plundering to the crowd now.
Rocks
Well,
fall, everyone dies.
A meteor shower.
Alright.
Well, who could have foreseen that?
You find your way back up the banking from the river and back onto the road. Back to the crossroads.
We had to go west from the crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
So onwards,
Yep.
Okay.
I would say.
Both roads head west. You going to head southwest or northwest?
I
Probably say south.
turn around to the bridge that I remember crossing yesterday, and the opposite from there, so it's southwest.
Good orientation. Alright. So you start heading southwest. Down through the woods.
We're off to see the wizard of the wands.
Yes, we're off to see.
Oh god.
At least the road has no yellow bricks.
Nicola, do you remember Oz Clark,
Oz Clark?
the wine expert?
No.
It was a British TV show called Food and Drink, and the wine expert was called Oz Clark.
I do not know it, I'm afraid.
That's what basically just made me think of. Then wonderful wizard, that's Oz.
You know what? Now that we're here, maybe I should do another nature check to see if we can take a shortcut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what about if we go pass through here? We should make it. Should cut off a little bit of the path.
As you glance at the map and you mention that to your companions, you glance southward to where you think the path would break off. But what you see is a sheer cliff.
Oops.
What is not marked on the map is that there is in fact a large change in elevation around this point, with steep, sharp slopes that you can
Well,
see
there
through
is
the
a
trees.
change in elevation marked behind
The
the
dotted
tree
line.
line, but all right. I could get up, but I couldn't get down with my caltrops. Looks like we have to go the long way around.
Indeed.
Unless you want to smash that shield against the cliff face.
Hey.
No, I think we best just.
I think the road might
Yeah.
be the best option.
Unfortunately, yes. Alright, we move on.
As you're about to move on, Reister, you feel a tug on your sleeve. Irina has grabbed your sleeve and she's looking back down the road.
What is it?
You see, in the middle of the roadway, a raven. It's been following us for the past 5 minutes.
Zbornik?
Okay, this time I'm gonna do it right.
Talk to it in its native language, please. If you could.
Hello, friend. Can we help you?
It kind of tilts its head at you. As you
What?
try to speak to this raven, you suddenly hear a lot of whispers. Too faint
What?
for you to make out any real words or any real sentences, but as soon as you've completed that spell, you hear noise, a babble of a crowd.
I don't want to tell you guys, but there's a whole bunch of animals that are chattering about something. I can't make out what it is, but they're having a lively conversation.
Roll perception.
Perceive.
Oh, dang it.
Okay.
I might be hearing some animal noises, but I have no idea what they mean. You're the one who can
the
talk
rest
to
of the party
animals.
can't hear anything. Zabornik, as you glance around, you notice a feather darting behind a leaf. You notice a shaking branch on another tree. You see a beak disappearing behind a trunk.
Hi-ho up there. We mean no harm. We would, however, appreciate knowing why we're being watched.
The noise stops. It's silent. Irina has seen you looking around and saw you squawking into the tree, so she starts to look around as well. She still has Reister's sleeve in her hand and she tugs it a little bit more violently.
Yes, I'm looking.
There's hundreds of them.
I can see that.
Okay, Zabornik is going to go crouch down on the ground, looking at the raven on the road to signal that she's not trying to be a threat. She turns around.
Just do this after me. I'm trying to tell them that we're not here to do harm.
The
Right.
raven just watches you.
I pull back the hood.
Hello, friend. Do you understand me?
The raven very slowly nods.
What is it that has caught your interest here?
It just kind of tilts its head at you.
Are we in danger?
It tilts the head the other way.
Oh, no.
Okay, differently. Is there any large danger nearby? Are we all in danger? Are you in danger?
Yep. I'm going to do a divine sense.
You don't sense anything malevolent.
Now I'm
But
doing
you
the
do
nature check
notice-
to try.
That as Zabornik has been talking, the raven again slowly nods.
I try to figure out if I can at least make out some sense of what it's doing.
Okay,
So I do a nature check.
those guys in the trees, are they with you?
Again, the raven slowly nods. Reister, you're watching as your turtle companion has crouched down and is now making squawking and chirping noises, and the raven down the road appears to be bobbing its head.
Seems like they're having a discussion.
It looks that way. Seems fairly one way, though.
Is something bad going to happen if we continue the way we were going?
The raven blinks at you. You start to hear
I
the
don't know.
rustle of conversation pick up in the trees again.
Really, it would be appreciated if you could just let us know what is happening here. This is a little bit unusual.
Roll me a
Actually-
perception check.
Okay. Perception.
Okay. You listen very carefully, trying to make out some points of the conversation that is going on around you, and you make out a few words. Watch, careful, and danger.
Zabarnik is going to turn to and say,
I think these ravens know something that we don't, that we really should know. They're not very forthcoming with the information, but something bad is probably just right around the corner.
You're still talking in Raven, my friend.
No, I'm not.
But I can't sense anything malevolent. Not nearby.
It could just be tricky terrain. Or it could be something that's not malevolent, but is still danger.
Zabarnik is actually going to take out one of her rations and just spread it all on the ground and say,
Here, as an offering of my goodwill. Maybe with this you'll be more inclined to trust and let us know a little bit more.
The raven hops a few steps closer, getting to the very edge of where you've put the rations, but still staying out of your reach. It pecks up a few crumbs and then flies off into the trees.
That was productive.
Getting anything else? Any conversations or anything?
Zabarnik is going to try to listen in one more. Just,
Ooh, there you go. You hear the words safe, wizard, danger, moving tree.
So they're saying something about safe and wizard. I'm not sure if this wizard is safe or not, but what they're also saying is something about a moving tree, which is quite disconcerting.
actually, I'm going to roll
Moving
nature,
trees?
nature to see if
That-
I know something about that. Oh,
I'm doing an arcana check to see if
Right.
I know anything about magical trees.
Zabornik, you're far too distracted with the ravens when their unusual behavior, but Reister, you heard tales long ago of wizards, not wizards, of certain crafts of magic that would allow trees to move. There were legends that forests would come alive and walk across moorlands and settle down to new areas. Creatures that would come from trees and attack people who tried to harm the forest.
Would I be able to double check my history?
Sure.
I would say I would relay that as a story that Rice had heard from his mother many, many years ago. Was still a small child.
Sir Elaine, you remember a story in the monastery where a powerful druid once called upon the spirit of a tree to fight for him.
I do remember there's a book in a monastery. Druids are able to utilize trees, sort of like a weapon. Not a weapon, they persuade the trees to fight for them.
Oh, yes, yeah, but I've never looked too much into that. I've never wanted to try to bend nature to my will that way, but yeah, there's truth to that.
And my mother told me stories about trees, forests walking and settling where they're needed and having protectors live in them. Creatures coming from the trees.
I think so long as we behave ourselves.
I thought it was a story that she told us to keep us from going into the woods. But maybe that's not it.
And I think maybe as long as we behave ourselves, try not to do any damage as we go, we should be okay.
Yeah, they are protective spirits, but the question is what they would consider dangerous behavior and what they could consider a threat. Because if the ravens are unsettled, odds are people are not doing much better.
Maybe when we find this wizard, we will... What exactly is going on?
If we have that much time.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if that wizard is just around the corner.
I don't think there's an actual...
Nope, Arena
wizard.
Cannot piece together a thought.
I think they're referring to the Wizard of Wines.
Maybe.
Yes,
We are close.
yes, that's what I was trying to think of. Do you think they were referring to that? We are
Possible,
relatively close.
though it's a term that we use and not them.
Oh, they understand human language. The problem is that they don't like to listen to it too much.
That is true. Wait, why am I saying that's all I would know for certain?
Well, the best way is to see for ourselves, I guess. But be ready that there might be danger ahead.
Indeed. Caution's advisable, but
In these woods.
I'd say just try not to appear like a threat.
Yes, be aware, but be not too threatening. Good thing we're not trying to walk through the midst of the woods.
We should definitely tread lightly
just
here.
jumping down here.
Okay then. So, are you continuing on?
I'd say yes.
I say yes, but we continue on carefully.
Right down the middle of the path. Right down the middle.
Yeah.
Alright. You continue further on down the road. As you watch, Arena is watching over her shoulder as you get probably about 20 feet away from where Zabornik spread her rations. You can see quite a number of ravens flutter down and start pecking at them.
Looks like the council. Looks like the coven of ravens has decided that your rations are worth their time.
I consider it an investment in the future. They remember people.
Well, I hope they keep us in good memory.
They should.
If I remember correctly, A group of ravens is called an unkindness, so you can say that has me a little nervous.
Yeah, they get a bad
Well-
rap because they're hard to see in the dark. They're very
Well-
reasonable animals, actually.
Legends
Bit
of my
too
home.
smart for some people. That's why they get the bad reputation as well.
And in my homeland, they have the reputation of being wise birds. Good
Listen
omens.
to the man.
I've heard stories of both, so I wouldn't say anything. But they can be rather cunning. In some parts, they're actually the protectors of people of my business.
Really? That's
Thieves
interesting.
and scoundrels, yes.
Well, they wouldn't really call you a scoundrel. Irina gives you a cheeky little grin.
I try not to be.
Alright. As you
So-
continue onwards, you come across a split in the road. One road continues further northwest. The other cuts sharply down to the south.
We head south.
Is there a post? A signpost?
There is. It points down to the south and says, "To the Wizards of Wine."
Yeah,
All
we've
right.
got the guard-
We
got the
followed
guard.
the sign.
Okay.
Helpful.
And you just follow the sign. But at this point
Yeah.
now, the morning is starting to drag on.
Well,
Okay. So, as you hurry down the path, Reister, you hear something beside you in the bushes and the trees. You glance over, but you see trees, shrubs, the darkness of the woods. Roll perception.
is that tree moving? Nah, can't be.
You didn't think you see anything. You squint for a moment, shake your head, and continue to move on.
I didn't see anything, but I still say this might be dangerous territory. We should be aware. To
Yes,
the rest of the group. After all, steep drop. And if there truly are trees walking amongst the woods in here,
Actually, Zabornik is going to do a nature check to see if any of the trees look unusual.
As you say that, you hear a yelp as Irina suddenly jumps backwards and away from what appears to be a branch on the road.
What happened, Irina?
The thing! She's struggling to pull off her shield and she's pointing to what you think was a tree, but it's moving.
There we go.
Stepping
Hello,
away
moving
from
tree.
the trunk of the tree is a humanoid form.
Would I be able to check my history to identify it?
I speak to.
Before you can do anything else, suddenly the trees around you erupt in a cacophony of cawing and shrieking as the ravens that have been following you dive down on the creature and start pecking and pulling at it. The creature raises its arms and tries to swat them away, but its slow, clumsy movements mean it can't get purchase. Across the road, you see a cloud of ravens descend on another form. The creatures groan and hiss as the ravens pull at them, yanking twigs and leaves and moss away from them. The creatures
Suggestion?
flee.
Suggestion. Run.
The creatures turn and flee deeper into the forest to try and rid themselves of the feathery menaces. You hear the cawing and shrieking fade into the distance.
Thanks, guys. Okay, you got that. Speed up. We get past this point.
We gotta get faster.
Yep. Agreed.
Fast.
So I'm still trying to wrap my brains to try and identify what they are as we run.
Alright, do you want to roll for it?
Okay, what should I roll?
Roll a nature check.
Nature check. Oh god.
That tree tried to swipe you.
Damn it.
Zabornik, however, you heard other druids creating creatures called Ents that were spirits in trees that could move and speak, but that didn't look like one you'd ever seen. That looked worse.
Corrupted.
Okay, guys.
She's just moving as fast as she can and speaking to others.
Okay, guys. I'm not an entomologist, but I don't think these were normal. Okay, but when a druid makes a tree move, it's called an ant. Okay, tree spirit ant. This is bad. This is not what I usually think when I think ant. This is a bad thing.
I think of small little animals, but okay. We don't have time to bicker about that.
My friend's spelling doesn't translate to language at all times. Just go. These are bad. Go.
Can we be reasonable?
Corrupted ends. Okay, got it.
I'm not gonna try to find out.
I don't want to get to know them up close.
All right. So you scarper down the trail for the better part of an hour before you start to slow your pace to catch your breath. Arena marveling at the speed of the elderly turtle.
I hope we shook him. We shook him off.
I'm too old for that.
I'm going to check whether or not there's any movement amongst the trees. I don't know.
The only movement you can see appears to be from the wind.
I thought you always make friends with the ravens.
Ravens and other people.
They're definitely the ravens, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
It makes sense for land's been corrupted.
They protected our hide.
Was it just me, or were the ravens protecting us?
I would agree
Looks
with that assessment.
like they're on our side.
they know if we're good to them and they're good to us, we are good to them back. It's a whole thing. It's cultural exchange. I
seem to remember that when we had the card reading, even there as well.
Yes, I
Don't know
believe
if
so.
they were.
I'd ravens are good. Yeah, they're. You know how they say that elephants don't forget? Ravens have one up on them.
Wait, I recall. They mentioned something about an evil tree atop of graves. Ravens can help us find it. That's where the treasure is. Something that could help us kill Strahd.
That was true.
You have, yeah, the druid card. Yeah, we might actually be able to. Mind if I look at the map again?
Of course.
Nope.
Yeah.
Arena is
No
not
map.
sure. What are you trying to figure out, Reister?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm even coming up with the following hypothesis. If the ravens guide us to the tree might be up on this hillside. if I'm reading these headlines correctly.
Oh, perhaps we could ask him.
The big bald spot beyond the forest.
You mean
Indeed.
that mountain? She points up over the trees towards a very clearly empty hilltop, which is visible rising above the valley.
All right. It was a hypothesis.
It wasn't a bad one. It's just it might not be that location.
But we can ask when we get to the Wizard of Wines. They're more or less on the doorstep, so...
We will be able to at least think that point us in the right direction, I assume.
Let's see if Arena manages to work out this one. Nope. No leaps of logic for Arena. Alright. So then, you pause for a moment to catch your breath. After the half-mile road, the road becomes a muddy trail that meanders through the woods and gradually descends until it gets past the trees, revealing a mist-shrouded meadow. So basically, you've gone up a hill and come back down the other side now into this valley.
Yeah. Cliffside did our back.
A light drizzle begins to fall. The unpainted fences blindly follow the trail, which skirts north of the sprawling vineyard before bending south towards a stately building. The fog takes on ghostly forms as it swirls between the neatly tended rows of grapevines. Here and there you see rope-handled half-barrels using for hauling grapes. North of the trail is a large stand of trees. You see a man wearing a dark cloak and cowl standing at the edge of the trees. He's beckoning you.
Well,
I'm going to try sense good and evil. Oh, sorry, divine sense.
divine sense, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay then. You don't sense anything malevolent in the area. You don't feel any undead. At least, not within the range of your spell.
Well, it doesn't seem to be anything here.
Could have fooled me.
Well,
Nothing that wants to eat us anyway.
Don't go there again.
you want to send the, you want me to go first and then you come after?
Yes.
Suit
Alright.
yourself.
Well, I move towards the black-shrouded person.
Okay. As you approach, the man lets his arm fall, saying that your heating has beckoned. He ducks back in behind the trees. And as you round the tree he was at, you see several people gathered in a group, huddled against a few trees, trying to stay out of the rain. As you glance around, you see that there is a mix of people here. Men, women, and even a few children.
Hello.
You don't want to be heading down that way, my friend.
Why not?
Something evil has taken over the winery.
So that's why no wine ever gets out.
Let's just see the deliveries are the last things on our mind right now.
I see. So you're afraid of said evil and you can't continue.
Let's just say we didn't exactly come here willingly. He motions around to the two small children that are currently looking at you with fearful eyes, one of whom is openly crying.
Don't mention him to me.
What?
What?
Don't mention them to Sir Elaine. Do not mention children crying to Sir Elaine right now.
The man who was talking to you is suddenly and abruptly pushed aside by a smaller figure. It's an older gentleman with ragged, wiry white hair. He too is wearing a dark leather poncho to keep the rain off. However, you can see his clothes underneath are a mishmash. Studded with sparkling knickknacks and trinkets. He kind of narrows his eyes and looks at you, as if trying to peer out who you are. Well, who are you? What business have you here?
My name is Ricer Willows, and I'm here with a group of friends. We were here to find out why there's no more wine coming from the Wizard of Wines.
Who sent you?
We came from Valaki. The innkeeper there, they were interested in getting to know why there's no more shipments.
Danka? Or Urwig? Which one sent you?
Danica actually sent us.
Good girl. Good head.
Urwig's always in the kitchen, so we didn't have the fortune of talking to him too much.
Yes, that boy always did like his cooking.
He's not bad, actually. His stews could be way worse.
Every time he makes a little grunt, his head twitches, and you get the impression that he's very crow-like. He's a very sharp, pointed nose, very twitchy features, and his gnarled hands resting on his cane reminds you of bird claws. It's very striking.
I just try to see if Rystar could do some help.
I hope you don't mind me asking, but could it be that you are a druid?
Me? No. Those... They are. He just angrily jabs his cane in the direction of south. Wicked. Beastly. Sent their weird little twigs into our house, into our wine, into our grapevines, ruining them.
Unwanted house guests, I see. I think I better introduce you to my friends.
You have friends? How many?
Yeah. I have 3 friends with me, and I can assure you they are willing to help.
He kind of...
with your problem.
He tries to go past you and just kind of forcefully shoulder checks you out of the way, which really wasn't all that hard, as he is an old man, and he just kind of nudges his shoulder into your stomach and goes around the tree. And glares at your companions.
I even step beside so he gets a better look.
As the old man passes by you, the man who originally beckoned you mouths, "Sorry."
Don't worry about it.
So, Sir Elaine, Zabornik, and Irina, you now see a very crotchety old man just appear around the tree, glaring at you.
I'm just thinking, with you mentioning him resembling a crow, would I be able to try and recall anything that could cause that?
What do you mean? What, you think he's cursed or something?
I believe he, not necessarily cursed, but definitely something not human about him.
You can try.
Okay, what do I need to roll?
Roll perception. This is just a crotchety old man.
Right.
And since Zvonek waved,
He
You know.
he looks over at your party and then turns back to Reister. You could fight, you're warriors.
we are people of various skills. But he, the one in the shining armor, he's a paladin. He should be able to fight for good and right.
Shiny armor. Well, if he doesn't mind getting that scuffed up, then we'll have use for you.
So I'm wearing chainmail. It's not really shiny.
It's look, how much polishing do you do to your chainmail? It's a lot.
Not much. I hide under the tabard mostly.
Still shiny, easier to explain then. Look, the guy in the bright clothes
It's like
and the tortoise
dark
actually.
clothes.
You see, you're making me confused.
Just say the guy who looks like a knight.
I said the guy in armor. Anyway,
Yeah.
I step out of the tree line and basically wave you in to come closer.
Okay, I walk over.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
It's more like here are some children you can probably really well entertain with
Oh,
your
hey,
candy.
little ones. I was just gonna say, you like some candy? You look like you
One
could
of the
use some
youngest
candy.
children screams and runs behind her father. The other two
Must
are
be-
looking at you with just very curious looks.
So, do I notice they're upset or something? Do I know that perception is to see if I notice if they're upset?
Well, you heard the scream.
Right. So I'm assuming that's just down to Zabornak then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zabornik does hand some candy out to the other two kids.
They
And
look
probably
at their.
kill some.
They look up at their mother, and their mother kind of takes their hands and tucks it away, and she eyes you up.
It's okay. I'm old.
I can see that. Perhaps if you can help us out in our current circumstances, we can discuss things like that later.
Fine by me.
She kind of pulls her two children in under her cloak.
Also, you should keep an eye on the diabetic child.
What?
I mean, it screamed at the candy.
The little girl is now currently in her father's arms, sobbing.
Sorry.
Well, we had a bit of a nasty fright. Those blasted druids.
Yeah. Those druids. Can't trust them.
Yes, Bornik, don't mention that.
Bad folks sometimes.
What's your
Yes,
you're a magician, by all means. No.
I'm many things. I'm a healer. I'm a midwife. I'm an entertainer.
Yes, and
I'm also a cook.
you're also a candy machine, apparently.
You're
As you're
nice to
talking-
kids. That's just what you do.
Zabornik,
I know.
you feel a very sharp prod in the front of your shell as the elderly gentleman has seemingly gotten tired of your bickering. Look,
It's
if you can clear this place out, then we can get the wine back out to Denanka. Druids in the house. Clear them out, get rid of the little twigs, and then we'll see what we can do.
yes. Don't mention it. You're welcome. So kind of you.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Wait. We could gather some intel. Just tell us everything about the situation.
What's to say? Those damn druids. They came in the middle of the night, forced us from our home. We only got time to grab what we have on our backs and run.
Any idea how many of them there are?
No.
Well,
I saw
What a
3.
we have a minimum.
I saw quite a lot of those twig things.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone else pipes up, another one pipes up, says, the one with the staff, he went into the loading dock. I don't know where he went from there.
Oh, a staff. That is relevant. Thank you.
Okay. So an arc druid. I have no better word for that.
Yeah, it's somebody who can focus his magic. That's one we should definitely
Yeah,
concentrate on.
it's a little bit like with the bard who focuses their magic on their instrument.
Something like that, yes.
Yes.
Alright. So then, the family appears to have settled back down into their very temporary, they hope, camping ground. They look miserable and wet. And they look expectantly at your group.
Maybe we should lend... What do you say, Sir Alan? We'll lend them our tent for the time being? At least then they're not out in the rain.
Of course.
That seems a kind idea. Yes, let's do that.
Alright.
And already we're making friends. Excellent.
The mother, who was very suspicious of Zabornak, suddenly has a very different expression on her face. She looks very thankful to you as the men start constructing the tent, and she ushers the children inside. Thank you.
It's not much, but it's the best we can do.
It's not like we need it right now.
Just make certain you don't get too drenched in this weather.
It'll be great for the children. Thank you.
Yeah. I would loan you my tinderbox, but unfortunately I doubt that you would be able to start a new fire.
Not in this rain.
Damp everything is.
Besides, the smoke would attract them. They don't know where we are for now, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Excellent point. Good man.
Alright. We'll see what we will do what we can now.
Okay then. So then, you
shoddy weather.
Set out on the road. Just let me get your characters. Helps if I go to that map too.
Yes.
Sir Lane, Irina, Reister, and Zabornik. So,
I was going to put myself in the grid.
okay. So you left the family on the upper edge of the valley and start heading down into the valley. In the midst of the vineyard winery is an old 2-story stone building with multiple entrances and thick ivy covering every wall. The iron fencing along its roofline and trail ends at an open loading dock on the ground floor. A wooden stable of more recent construction is attached to the east side of the brewery, next to a loading dock. West of the winery is a crumbling well and a wooden outhouse. You can see this quite clearly from where you are right now, as you appear to be probably about 200 odd feet away from the house.
Does Womack anything I should know that would help us?
After all,
About druids and that.
do I know something?
What are you trying to check?
Basically, anything that would help in dealing with some kind of twisted end.
Twisted ends and their masters.
You know that wood doesn't like fire.
That's good to know.
Oh, good thing I still have that bottle of alchemist fire.
And a good thing that Zabornak can produce fire.
And it's a good thing I got still five containers of oil with me. We can always put oil on
as his sword.
Same. Maybe I should cover my sword in oil and set it on fire. Though I presume I would rather burn my hand.
Also, that's not how oil works, so that's that.
That is true.
Irina takes her shield off her shoulder and straps it to her arm as she moves forward.
I just hope that doesn't ruin the finish too much.
Well, it dried off quite well last night. I don't think we'll have any problems with... What was that? Irina stops and looks back up the road you came. You hear the rustle of dead vines all around you as inhuman shapes start to emerge from the vineyard and the woods around you. Their limbs are cracking as they trudge forward through the mist and rain.
Howdy.
Let me just get this going.
Well,
Irina prepares her shield.
I prepared the alchemist fire in one hand.
And she lifts her crossbow.
And,
More.
Question is, what do I do?
Zabona cast Strahd Kroger.
Yes.
This does not look good.
How far
Shame.
And
So
it's
how-
flammable.
It does.
Perhaps.
How far we
Perhaps we should
we keep
retreat
moving?
to a more defensible position.
Yes.
Not a bad idea.
Yes.
As the creatures
Unle-
come forward.
I've done too
Alright.
much running today already.
Do you think I should put the alchemist fire out?
Yes.
Well, we'll find out next week. That's where we'll end our session for tonight.
Okay.
I had to leave us on a
Well.
cliffhanger. I thought it'd be fun.
Nice little.
Oh God! I just realised something.
Yes.
I'll leave it till discussion after we've gone off there.
And that's where we'll leave it for tonight. So then, play the game.
Zbornak.
What?
Zbornak and the Hunters.
Zabornik
I'm not
making
sure that counts as a
really-
play as such.
Well, Zabornik was trying to be a player.
Yeah.
It was really just an attempt to make them believe I was.
That's what she says.
It completely derailed what we were doing. I made one of the best moments.
Yep, that's one of the things about D&D. Things you don't expect
It made
happen.
one of the greatest moments, yeah.
Oh, fumble of the game.
That look.
Fumble
same
of the
thing?
game, street
I'd probably say-
performance.
Yeah, the true performance.
Oh dear, that was fun.
At least we got enough buttons now.
That's true.
True, you do have lots of spare buttons. So, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to next week.
Wonder when we're going to find out the Strahd's true weakness is buttons.
I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain we can press them.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Alright,
Don't push it.
we'll end the stream there.
Push it real good.
So, from the top of the list, it's going to be a good night from me, a good night from our Randy Turtle creature,
Sleep tight.
and that's a nightmare nobody needed. Good night from Decor,
And don't let the bed bugs bite.
that's horrifying.
Good night.
And Sephi Senpai.
I don't bite hard.
That was terrible, and you should not be ashamed for it. Because mine is even worse.
I'm turning evil.
you're talking about.
That is very good if I need a week off.
Alright then, guys.
Anyway,
We'll
now
see
let
you.
us go and have a good night's rest.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Night, night.